to give their testimony, because just remember, your testimony, it's major. Your testimony is major. It's not only what I say on this platform or Pastor Carlos, but we also have to understand that you have a story that can help the next person. There are things that I go through that you may not have gone through, or vice versa, and a lot of people need to hear it. There's many people out there that need to hear these testimonies, that need to hear these type of discussions, the topics that are taking place. So really appreciate everyone who's always joining us regularly on a weekly basis, and for those who watches us on YouTube, and especially those who share the links, and pass it on to someone who may be in need of a good message. All right, I think you, Jael, what's going on? Christy, hey, what's up? What's up? Thank you for being with us. Pastor Carlos, what's going on, big bro? How you doing?
Was good, little bro? How you been?
I'm good, man. I'm thinking the whole time I'm connected with the AirPods, so I apologize. I hope, can you hear me clearly?
Crystal clear, man. Crystal.
Okay. Let me go ahead and fix this. I'll be right back. Just give me a few seconds.
Sure, sure. God bless everybody that's with us. Keep us off, but it was all good. We were able to, still salvage certain things and get things out there. And we do have people on Facebook and YouTube with us tonight. So it's a blessing, those people who might be watching on Facebook and YouTube, to have you with us. And of course, everybody that joins us on Instagram as well, truly is a blessing. So, hope you guys have had a great week. And it's a blessing to have you guys with us. And I'm ready for God to do what he's going to do today, man. I don't know what you have as a topic, but I know it's going to be a blessing to people's lives, man, for real.
Amen. Yeah, definitely. That's the goal. That's always going to be the goal on a weekly basis. Every time we get on a live, every time we speak on a reel, our main goal is to help the other person. Is to uplift someone else who's in need. We do it on a daily basis. We all go through battles. We all know when those battles present themselves in our lives, they're not easy at all. We have enough to deal with, enough responsibilities. So just imagine when you have to deal with obstacles along with those responsibilities. So really, thank you all. Thank you all for joining, for listening in,
Thanks,
and for
man.
being with us, simply. And yeah, I'm glad that you did mention about last week, how we got interrupted. And I hope that everyone who did watch the live with us, that they were blessed. I also want to thank Jael for the post that she put up, which was major. She had a great message, great example. She just went all in. She basically broke down what our live was about all in one post in just a few minutes. So I really appreciate that, Jael. Seriously, if you're watching, thank you so much. Thank you.
Facts, man. Facts. And we saw, the enemy try to do something, but it's not going to stop the movement. And sure enough, if you don't mind me sharing, little bro, it's funny
Go right
because
ahead. Go right ahead.
because right afterwards, we talked about that this was spiritual. We put that video out like the next video, because what happened ended up actually even cutting off, what we had talked about, and had destroyed it, right? Like we couldn't save it. Instagram has this really terrible feature. And of course, out of all the days to have an account be locked out in the middle of a serve, in the middle of a stream, right? It happened to be on the day that our providers, by some, attack by God knows who, and we know who it is, was getting the block to be able to stream to Facebook and to YouTube. So it was like, normally we got backups, and we got backups of a backup. And that day, all the backups were down because we couldn't get that stream out. You know what I'm saying? Which now we got a backup of a backup of a backup for those backups. Like, we're not playing games. We went ahead and set things up here over the last few days to make sure that we were good. And, after we finished up, Jimmy, I went ahead and he hit me up, and we had a little conversation, and I told him, we had a little conversation, which I won't divulge details, but one of the things that I did tell him, which is what I want to share today, is, I told him, yo, it's spiritual, bro. It's spiritual. You know, enemy's not happy. I let them know why the enemy's not happy and everything. And I shared with them. I go, yo, just so you know, there's people who watch this stream that the enemy uses. He's like, what you mean? I go, bro, I never have had friend requests from people like, you know, from people that I don't know that are suspect. Every now and then, you know, I've had friend requests from people or people that try to follow me that I don't know them, but it turns out that somebody that I know knows them. And, you know, you get those friends like that, right? Those friends that want to be friends, even though you ain't friends. But, you know, you just, you know, they trying to latch on for whatever reason. Who knows how you might be able to bless them, or they just have that connection. They want to do that. But I told them, yo, bro, you know, ever since we started doing the live, I've had people that are into witchcraft try to follow my page. Now, because I knew the calling that the Lord had for me, not just on this platform, but for a number of other things that God has been over the years lining up little by little in terms of how he wants me to serve him. I went and I made, because of the movement that God had given me, I made my page public. I made my page public so that people could easily follow, right? So that you don't have to wait for a request. You can easily follow it. And ever since I did that, I haven't had random people trying to follow me. I've had people that typically are on the program, you know, that are on watching, like you guys are, that will send a thing saying, hey, I want to follow, and you follow immediately, right? You follow me. If I seen you on the program, I'll follow back. No problem. You know, it's part of connecting with you guys. But I've had people that are into witchcraft suddenly follow me. Out of all the times, they never wanted to follow me before, but they're following me now. And I shared with them, I go, yo, you know what? All those suspensions, the same way that we've had random people that God has brought into the live, they needed to receive a message and were blessed on that day with that message. And, you know, some have even testified with, wow, man, I don't know how I came on this channel, but, you know, I don't know how I came onto your platform on the stream, but I've been so blessed. And they shared about all this stuff. And they're like, yo, that's crazy that God brought them in, but we know that God is good and he brings them in and he has a message for them on that day. The same way that God could take you there, the enemy can try to direct you there as well, right? And I told him, yo, you remember all the times that I would have people somehow get my account blocked suspiciously, and it always be at the same time. It would be when a life-changing moment for somebody was coming in, boom, they would cut the transmission for me, right? And I told him, yo, I'm just letting you know, I've had people that are into witchcraft. I've had witches hit me up trying to follow me. And what I do with anybody that follows me is I check out your page to see what you're into. Because if I see that you might be into something that's suspect, I'm sorry. You know, I gotta look out for me, and I gotta look out for family. I gotta look out for ministry. I gotta look out for all that. So it's like, I don't need to give you ammo to try to do stuff, you know, because if you don't want to believe in it, hate to tell you, it's real. We've seen it. We've seen it, and some of us have experienced it. So we know that the witchcraft part of it is real, right? We know that the brujos and brujeria and all that stuff, we know all of that is real. Little bro, remember we had that conversation and you were like, wow, really? And I shared it with you. Yeah, I've had like 3 or 4 people into the witchcraft try to follow me. No, block that, right? You got blocked. Oh, excuse me. You got interrupted because suspicious activity. Who slid into your follows like a day or 2 later?
Yep, someone who practiced witchcraft.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was like, something's happening here that the enemy's not happy about. We talked about it once we ended the stream last week. We were talking about it, and at the end of the stream, something's happening here. And if you don't believe that you can receive a blessing here, if you don't believe that God has a word for you here, if you don't believe that there's a life-changing, you know, there's something that God is doing here to change lives, because he needs people to come back to the image that he has so that they can live in all the blessing that he has for them, because he wants to change something there, that he wants to alter families, that he wants to alter generational curses. He wants to do all that stuff. Ask yourself, why would he be attacking, and why would he be sending his people to try and stop what's happening here? And that's why we're hitting it hard, bro. You know, that's why we're hitting it hard. So we just want to let you guys know, if you've ever questioned like, yo, what's going on? And God, are you talking? Are you doing something? If you've ever had the doubt and you felt like I'm blessed, but I don't know if it's just me being emotional, believe me, the enemy wouldn't be trying to attack if you're being blessed and it was your emotions. So we're going to continue doing what we're doing, because if the enemy's tight, we know God is with us, because the enemy has not prospered to take us down to this point. And I'm not just talking about on a stream. I'm talking about in ourselves, our being, and attacking us. He has not been successful. Have we gotten knocked down a little bit? Absolutely, we have. But we continue to push through because we know the promises of God are greater than the attacks of the enemy. So with that said, I don't know what attacks people are going through this week, this month, this year, how, this decade, whatever it's been, your whole life. But no, the attacks of the enemy are not greater than the promises and the power of God. So with that, we push through. What do you have for us today, bro?
Don't change who you are, be yourself. Don't change who you are, be yourself. As we know, we're talking about attacks. We're talking about our daily lives, things that we go through, our experiences, trauma for some or many, that can be horrible, right? These things tend to change people in general. It changes your heart. It changes the way you think. It changes your reaction, your actions. It changes many things in our lives, right? Everything is based on what we learn, what we go through, and what we're currently feeling, right? Even when it comes to decision making, our behavior, et cetera, et cetera. So the message that I got for this week was, don't change who you are and be yourself at all times. And what I'm trying to say by that is to be yourself at all times, no matter what you go through, no matter what you're feeling, right? Don't beat yourself up, right? Don't take it out on others, regardless if they're at fault or not, because you always have to put yourself in someone else's shoes and treat them the same way you want to be treated, right? If you're unable to be around that person or deal with the person or have communicate with the person, right? Have any type of conversation, what is best to do is avoid the person, right? Avoid that situation without having to disrespect or making anyone feel down, making anyone feel bad. Because again, you want to put yourself in their shoes, right? You don't want to feel the same way they're making you feel. What we put out is what we're going to receive eventually, whether it's now or moving forward. So it's something that we have to think about. So just let that sink in for a second. I know as I explained that, people must be thinking like, but how is that even possible? I'm sure there are people who can see that's very possible, and they've been in those type of situations, and that's who they are today, that no matter what they go through, they don't treat others poorly, right? But you must be asking yourself, so how can you do that? I mean, you can't be too nice, is what you're probably saying right now. There are people that meet me and they say, man, you seem so nice. You seem like you don't judge people. You seem like you're very understanding. And I just like the way you think. I like the way you are. And even advice that I would give them is something that they would never think about. But you also have to think about, who do they have around? Maybe you need more influence, good influence around you. Maybe you need more people who can give you good advice, people who know, right? People who are going to put you on the right path, people that are going to lead you down the right path and not towards self-destruction, right? Or destruction. So you must be thinking to yourself, how can I do that? I've had this question asked. I remember this question, the last time they asked me this was, do you ever have bad days? Right? They're asking me this because they see how I carry myself. They see how I respond to people on a daily. They just see the way that I am in general. So I was asked, do you have any bad days? And I must say, I have many bad days. I have many bad days. But is it your fault? I have many bad days, but is it your fault? Now let that sink in real quick. Think about it. How many people here who are watching right now or know of people that have a bad day and they go ahead and take it out on the next person? How many people here go through something in their relationship or in their home or workspace, and they take it? How many people go through situations in their workplace and they take their problems to the house? How many people go through issues in their homes and take it outside of their homes? Whether it's the workspace, whether it's wherever you're going for recreation, any gathering that you're attending with people that you're connecting, you just end up having that bad energy, that bad vibe. It may not be all because of you. It may be because of what you're going through. How many people can go ahead and admit and say, you know what? Yeah, I've been through that situation. Because I have. And it took me a very long time to learn that not everyone deserves that bad energy, that bad vibe. Not everyone deserves being in an awkward situation where you're making them feel uncomfortable just because of the way you're feeling, or just because you just finished going through something a day or two or a week ago. Right? So we have to know how to control these things. We have to know how to control ourselves. It's the way when we move forward, we're just going to keep improving, right, as individuals, but we're also going to help others understand eventually, you know what, no matter what you go through, never put someone else through it. No matter what you go through, never put someone else through it. Now, let me read something here that I wrote down. I thought about it as I drove, and I just had to write this down. It's there are people out here who are going to make you happy, sad, angry. There are people who are going to use you, betray you, disrespect you, cheat you, whether it's through opportunities or relationships. People are going to be people. You're going to go through things regardless. You're a human being. You've been on both sides of the table. You've been on both sides where you were the one who made someone sad, angry, right? You've also been on the other side where you've made other people happy and feeling good about themselves. There are people who won't appreciate you. You will mean nothing to them. But none of this means it's okay for you to change, to turn into them. So how many people here can actually admit and say that we've been a type of person because of what someone else turned us into? What we thought it was right. What we thought we were supposed to do, all because we really wanted to protect ourselves. We really want to protect ourselves. So we wanted to be over the person. It could be someone you just met yesterday, but because of your experience, you're actually treating them poorly because of how you've been treated in the past. And you just want to show them, you're not going to treat me the same way my ex-partner treated me. You're not going to treat me the same way my ex-boss treated me. You're not going to treat me the same way my ex-coworkers treated me or my coworkers are treating me. We all do it for protection. At the end of the day, we do it because we want to build these walls, right? Keep our guards up so we won't continue to hurt, to stress. Sometimes we end up changing and we don't even notice it. For some, people change and it's too late because they've already hurt too many people. They've already broken X amount of hearts. They've already made someone insecure. They've already broke someone's confidence, self-confidence, or confidence in general. They've already, instead of preventing, they've caused people to have a low self-esteem.
Facts.
I mean, the list just keeps going. The list keeps going. Now, we also have to keep in mind, we keep discussing the enemy, the enemy, the enemy, the enemy, because it does exist. It does exist. Outside of our little world, there's a whole other world out there. And for those who have experience in the past, believe it, it exists. There are battles right now that you're fighting that it's really not your battle. There are battles that you're fighting right now that your solution is prayer. There are battles right now that you're fighting that you have no idea how to get through it. You have no idea how to get through. But just know, like we've mentioned in multiple episodes, there's a spiritual warfare out there. Sometimes you can't blame the person. Sometimes you can't blame that thing. You have to be aware of what's happening around you. The battles that you're fighting are invincible. They are invisible. You're unable to see it.
Facts.
But that doesn't mean that you cannot be aware of them. As long as you're aware, fights happen through prayers many times. And what fights do we use prayers for? Those things that I've mentioned in the past episodes. Big bro, you remember when I said, make a list of the things that you can control and make a list of the things that you cannot control. The list of the things that you cannot control, you're going to have to start the process of elimination and just move it aside and let God handle that. Handle the things that you can handle physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
And even those things that you can control, you got to come to the realization that you can control those things that you can control because God's given you the opportunity, the knowledge, the ability to be able to control it. So you do it with gratitude.
I'm sorry.
Like, yo, I'm able to
Repeat
change
that again. You
Again,
said because God has given you the ability.
God gives you the ability to be able to do it. So again, it's not sitting there waiting for him to do it automatically for you. There are those things that you can't control that you're like, yo, there's nothing I could do about this. Let it go. There's those things that you can control because God has given you the ability, the knowledge, the wisdom, the discernment of, I'm giving you the opportunity and the ability to do this. I'm letting you know how you can handle it. I'm giving you the discernment of exactly how to handle it if you ask me, and go and do what I'm asking you to do. Those things you can handle, so go ahead and handle it, because he's trusting you to be able to do it. So don't just leave it on the back burner and say, oh, I'm going to throw everything away. Like you said, you got to separate it. You got to come in and say, yo, this is what he's allowing me to do. So let's go. How do you want me to handle it? Let's go and do it. And some of those things he might even tell you, nah, don't worry about it. Even though you can do it, I'm gonna handle that, because he does that sometimes too. But like you said, there's those things that you can't control, and we cannot allow those things to go ahead and put a damper on what we can do, because what happens a lot of times is that you worry so much about what you can't do, but when you look at it, it's very minimal in comparison. A lot of times those things are very minor, like it's small, it's like, but the thing is that we magnify them into something bigger. And because we magnify them into something bigger, we don't do what we can do, what he's allowing us to do, because we allow that to affect that which we can do. So I think you hit the nail right on the head. You got to be able to cause that separation to say, yo, I can't handle this. Let me put this away. God, thank you that you're giving me the opportunity to be able to handle what you're entrusting in my hands to be able to do. So I think that's absolutely amazing. I think, you hit the nail on the head, little bro.
And it's something that we also want to remind people. Notice whenever things are okay or good, right? Because things can be okay and still go a little south, right? Life isn't perfect. You're going to go through it. We have to accept that. You're going to go through it. For as long as you're living, for as long as you're breathing, you are going to go through situations. But it's all about how you look at those situations, how you handle those situations. Because there's ways that we handle situations that prolong the situation, because we refuse to focus on the solution, right? There are decisions that we make that makes situations worse, which is another thing that we have to keep in mind. But notice, everyone who's watching, I want you to notice that when you're being attacked, the enemy knows when exactly to attack, right? When things are going well, all of a sudden you get a parking ticket. When things are going well, all of a sudden you lose hours at work. When things are going well, all of a sudden you lose clients. When things are going so well, all of a sudden you're having unfortunate situations with your partner or with friends or family. When things are going so well, the problems are like, hello, I'm right here. Just putting a block to your success, putting a block to your process, putting a block to your journey. Why? Because problems are distractions. So now what happens when problems become distractions? Because now you're focusing on that problem, right? How many people go through it and things are going so well that they get into debt eventually? They get into debt. Things were so good. You were swiping back and forth. Things are going so well. I can afford this. This is not a problem. But then you realize I was overdoing it, which is okay. We go through these phases. But now what are you focused on? The debt. what you think is a problem. When it's really as simple as making the sacrifice and just start making those payments and bringing that balance low. But you're focused now on doing more hours. So now you're losing time for you, time for your healing, time for keeping up with your health, time for you spending time with the family the same way you've been doing it for the past few weeks, months, or this year. But now the enemy is not only taking your money, but they're also taking your time. Now they're draining your energy, or trying, right? Because it's a battle. Not all give up. Not all give up. And I say not all should give up. Keep pushing, keep going. Because all these little problems that you're looking at or that you're going through is all temporary. It's all temporary. And one thing that I must say is that we've been going through this for so many years. It's been going on for decades, centuries. It's law that when people go through things, they turn into a whole different person, depending how they handle their situation. When people go through certain situations, they feel like they're stuck and there's no way out, and there's a way out. And they believe that the only way out is to pay that debt. The only way out is not to have that debt. The only way out is not to have that inconvenience with their partner or ex-boss. How about we switch our perspective? There's a reason why you went through it with your ex-boss. Maybe you're irresponsible, you're showing up late, or maybe for some reason they don't like you, or someone wants to kick you out because you're too good, or they won't be able to afford your salary in the near future. Perspective. Understand, accept if you're the one doing something wrong, but also accept if they're trying to do you wrong. Notice that they accept if they're trying to do you wrong. So what are we doing now? Okay, we go through it. We have a family to feed. We have a family to attend to. And even for those who are single, you're destroyed too, because your friendships, you're destroying those friendships that you had or have. It can happen multiple ways. It's a battle that we all go through, but it's all about having these type of conversations to make sure that we maintain each other's mental health, emotional health, and spiritual health. Because once we have that in order, finance comes right after. Eliminate those distractions. Speaking of the enemy is out here recruiting people to promote more of all of this that we just finished mentioning. Again, the enemy is out here recruiting people to promote more of this. Anger, misery, disrespect, insecurities, harm, and by harm in multiple ways, such as mental, emotional, spiritual, financial. The enemy and this society we are in wants you to lack confidence, lack mindfulness, lack gratitude, lack peace, and so much more. I'm getting goosebumps as I'm saying this. It's been going on again for decades, for centuries, but most of us learn early. Majority learn after. I don't even want to use late, because it's not late. I'm still here. I'm still breathing. I'm grateful that I'm giving this message. I'm grateful to still be here. I feel like I'm going to be here for the next 50 years, 60 years, 100 years if God permits. But that's what the enemy wants to do to us. Now, haven't you noticed, once again, when all is going well, it's smooth sailing, but things go south eventually. The enemy knows when and where to attack. You start feeling stressed, depressed, maybe anxiety, weak, confused, cloudy, misery, desperate, lost, ready to settle for less or anything that comes your way, which is the reason why most of you are in poor relationships right now, which is the reason why most of you are not getting paid what you're supposed to be getting paid right now, which is the reason why there's a lot of things that you've accepted and regret today. But it's never late. It's never late to make that change, because again, the same way I have 50 to 100 years to be here on this earth, you do too. It's not the end of the world. It's not the end of your world. Your world is up here. Your world is up here and here in your heart. So it's all about your intentions. It's all about how you're treating yourself. And what I mean treating yourself is your eating habits. Are you exercising? Are you appreciating you for all that you do? Because remember, the majority of the sickness, right, they come from stress, right? And when we're talking about internal, they come from the intestine. So now I want to go ahead and match something. whatever's sitting in your intestines that's not supposed to be there, what do you think that happens over time? It starts to rot, and it will affect you, or most, in the long run. So now if you're stressing the same situation or continuously stressing situations, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? All that is over. All that is over. What the enemy wants to do with all that I just finished mentioning, they want to destroy your ideas. Any ideas you may have, any intentions you may have towards things or even other people. They want to destroy your journey. They want to destroy your process. They want to destroy all the good that you have to offer people and yourself and your family and your friends. They want to destroy it. Society wants to destroy it. They don't want you to believe in yourself. They do not want you to believe in you. They want you to believe in them. They want you to believe in them. They want you to do what they tell you to do. When in reality, you're supposed to be doing what you want to do. You're supposed to be doing what God is calling you to do. You're supposed to do everything that you love and want to make change in your life and in others. You're supposed to do just that. But if you have problems and obstacles, how are you going to be able to focus? How are you going to be able to focus on these things when you have all these problems, when they're really distractions? We have to learn how to treat these problems and be aware that these are distractions, right? There are people who are going to do, they're going to do what they do. They're going to do what they do. But we have to let them. They will learn along the way. They will realize many things along the way. Jobs are going to fail you. Just let time do what it does. Time tells all. If you're going through a situation and it went south with your partner, don't overreact. Because I've been there where I've overreacted. And many times it did not go well. But one thing that I've learned the older that I get is that time always gives the answer. Time always gives a better decision, makes a better decision. Time will help you heal and will help the other person heal. But each person has their own responsibility for them to heal themselves. Never depend on someone else. You have to realize on your behalf what you did wrong, what you're doing wrong, what you shouldn't do, what you should do, and vice versa. Big Bro,
Facts.
we went hard early on.
And you know, I was chuckling as you were saying certain things too, bro, because I had a lot of things written down that God had given me yesterday, and it lines up exactly with a lot of what He has given you right now and this morning. And I'm this evening, and let me share those things with you as I put these things together yesterday morning. What God had given me, right? First of all, as you were talking, as you started to initiate a lot of the things, what God had given me was, like, He showed me anger, right, as one of the things, and one of the key components of that is that, you know, the Lord there in Ephesians, He gave the apostles to go and write down, you know, don't let your anger lead you to sin, right? So again, you can feel these emotions. This was just one example. They gave the example of anger. But the main thing is, do not let that lead you to sin. So in other words, your feelings, you're a human being, you're going to have feelings. But what you need to make sure of is that you do not allow that to lead you to sin. So first of all, don't let it allow you to sin against God. Don't let that allow you to sin against your brother and sister because of a number of different things. And we're going to go there real quick. But that was one key component, is do not let that lead you to sin. So as you were talking here, like in the last few minutes, one of the things that I had written down yesterday that God had taken me to was decisions. We have a lot of decisions. Everybody, I know I've got decisions. You've got decisions to make. Everybody that's watching tonight has decisions to make. Anybody who's going to be watching, you know, the recap of this later, they have a number of decisions to make. And those decisions can lead you to where God wants you to go, or it could take you down a path that will separate you from Him. So again, I'm going to repeat that. The decisions that you need to make, all these decisions that you need to make, the very fact that you could be angry about something and treat somebody a certain way, the very fact that you could decide, nah, you know what, man, nah, I'm not going to be this kind of person with these people. I'm not going to do this with these people. Whatever it is that you feel can lead you to make a decision. I'm going to be this way or I'm not going to be this way. And that decision is what's going to lead you where God wants to take you, or it can take you down a path that is going to, choose to separate you from him. That took me to a scripture that says, enter by the narrow gate. This is Matthew 7. Enter by the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the way is easy that leads to destruction. So pay attention to that. The way that you can go is narrow, right? Or you can go through the gate that's wide, and that gate that's wide is the one that is easy to lead down to that road of destruction. And those who enter by it are many. So most people that go down that road that will destroy them are many. For the gate is narrow and the way is hard that leads to life, and those who find it are few. So what God is telling you is essentially go down that narrow road. So the decisions that people tend to not want to make, that tends to be where things are easy. So you guys are going to see how this goes and puts things together. So when you decide to not obey what God has given you, which that's the much more difficult route to go, right? You start to go down a direction where it's like, it's much more easy to, it's much easier to go ahead and disobey God than it is to obey God, because we get all up in our feelings. And sometimes it's not even getting all up in our feelings, but sometimes we look at, how's this person going to criticize me? What's my spouse or my partner going to say? What my parents thinks? It could go down so many different roads, but we start to analyze what people are saying, and we start to let that take us away from what God really wants for us. So we start to go down the wide road, right? So check out what happens when you go down the wide road. It doesn't sound much, but even the smallest of a decision can go ahead and cause you to make a choice that's going to lead you down a few different potentials, right? One potential, this is why I laugh, because the word that God gave me is exactly what you just said right now: to distract you from your purpose, to distract you from your blessing. The enemy is so jealous about what you have and what God wants to give you. And the fact that God wants to restore this image, and that God wants to use you, that God has given you a purpose, that God promises that he's going to bless you, right? That he wants to give you future and a hope, that he's like, nah. At the very minimum, I have to distract you. So when you're tight and you're starting to make certain decisions and you're really all up in your feelings about it, there you are being distracted. If he doesn't lead you to distraction, he's going to lead you to idolize something. Now, again, I told people yesterday, this doesn't mean that your idol is a statue. A lot of times people go the old biblical route and they think, oh, it's some amazing statue. Like, I'm going to erect the statue of Nicki Minaj up in my house. Nah, your statue could be your job. Your statue can be that my spouse is everything, that my partner is everything, that my kids are everything, that this whip that I got, the car is everything, that the house and the apartment is everything. Your family is everything. It could be something that takes you away from God. That's what an idol is, and it can be anything. It could be, yo, I love my music, so I'm staying in the studio. If that's what I do, everything's studio, because I love my music and I want to make my music, blah 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 blah, whatever, right? Idolizing, lifting up an idol can be anything. And what does an idol do? Distracts you and takes you away from God. Again, we get to that key word of distract. But check this out. They even attempt to destroy your relationship with God. And so you got decisions that, if you're not careful, can lead to distractions and possibly even destruction of a relationship with God. This does not mean that God wants to destroy a relationship with you and wants nothing to do with you if you make decisions. You want to know where that destruction goes? Now, instead of asking God for discernment, I'm going to make a decision on something that's so small, so tiny, that the dominoes start to fall, right? So check it out. Now, if I just work that one extra day at work because I really need to pay that bill, don't get me wrong, bills are important. But sometimes the enemy hits you with an attack. And all of a sudden, your main focus is no longer how can God provide for you. Your main focus is how can I do it myself? So instead of asking God, yo, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? You decide, I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to figure it out myself. So you go and decide to work some days that you don't need to work. I'm not going to say that it's a Sunday. Some people make it a Sunday. You give away your day with, with the Lord. But let's get away from that for a second. The first ministry that God gives you is your family. So you decide, yeah, I know I need to take care of some stuff. This bill's over here. I don't want to go through the hassle. I don't want to shame myself in calling the company to deal with it, right? See if they give me an extension or just trust God and whatever. Ask God for the direction on what you want me to do. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start working. And this day that I would spend with the family, I'm going to choose to not do that. So now your kids kind of tight because the time that you should have spent with them, you're not doing it. So, or your spouse or your parents, whatever it is that you gave up to be able to handle that. I'm just giving you a small domino, just a small domino. It's just 6 or 8 hours in the day. Not a big deal. What does it matter? Okay, all right, bet. So let's say all of a sudden your kid's upset, right? They're small, they're 4, 5, 6 years old, 10, whatever. But that leads you to every time that there is something like that comes up, you give up that time and you give it that time and you give up that time and you continue to give up that time for work instead of asking for God for the solution to your problem that can lead you to the right decisions to make so that you can live the way that he wants you to live, so that you can go and actually rely on him and tend to the ministry that God gave you with family. Just an example, right? So you give up this time with your kids, this time. And you know that when that happens, because I've seen it happen, it becomes a habit. I'm going to rely on myself, more overtime, another day. Let me pick up a part-time, whatever it is, right? You go and you give those things up. Now you're spending lots of time with your kids. When they're 12, 13, 14, 15, they remember that. Believe me, they're going to remember that, right? So now they feel like mom and dad ain't really spend time with me. So I start relying on other things. I start looking for other outlets, other areas of affection, whatever. Just a hypothetical. And now all of a sudden you don't like that. And because you don't like that, it starts to cause a clash. And maybe in that moment you no longer need overtime. But the thing is, you've done the damage. So now they don't want to spend that time with you. And y'all are clashing, and that causes arguments, and the clashing and the arguments causes a lot of issues. And then let's just say because of that, your child goes too far gone. You believe, right? They start getting into drugs, whatever. At the end of the day, you start having this issue with your kids, or maybe it's not with your kids. Maybe you start having these issues with your spouse, or whatever area of your life you're neglecting starts to really get impacted. What happens when things really go south? And it's because you started to make those little tiny decisions like that. Sometimes it's big decisions, but a lot of times it's the smaller ones because we don't think that they matter much. What does God care about that small decision, right? When the dominoes start falling, small decision, and it just keeps going, it can eventually lead to the point that you have something that gets you so upset. I can't believe this happened. I can't believe that because I wasn't there, my spouse cheated on me. I can't believe that because I wasn't there, my kids got into drugs, that they got into this relationship, that they don't want nothing to do with the church, that they don't want, I can't believe. All of a sudden, who do you get upset with? With God. Why did you allow this, God? Oh, word? Now you don't want anything to know about God because now you start blaming God. And that's the destruction of the relationship. When all this time, he's like, yo, I just wish that you would ask me the direction, the discernment, the knowledge on what I want you to do, what I've made you capable of. what I want to anoint you in, the blessings that I have for you, the reliance that I want you to have on me. I've just been wanting to give this to you all this time, and I'm just waiting for you to ask me. But now you get to the point that because you made decisions and you're starting to see the repercussion of your decisions because you never put him in the center of it, now you want to blame him, and that can potentially lead to the road of destruction between your relationship with God. And now you don't want to know anything about him. Telling you, the enemy can make it as small as distracting you, but he can make it as big as destruction in your relationship with God. And it doesn't look like much, but what choices did you make? Are you allowing God to be in those choices? And then it's funny, bro, because as you were talking about all that, and I was thinking about like the decisions that you make and everything, God took me to another scripture that I just want to kind of go through very, very, very quick. Again, this is in Ephesians. God says, with the Lord's authority, I say this, live no longer as non-believers do, for they are hopelessly confused. So again, don't live like the world. Don't live like everybody else. They're confused. They don't even know how to live. Stop trying to be like them. Stop trying to come up with the answers that they have. That doesn't work, right? Their minds are full of darkness. They wander far from the life that God gives. Notice that. God wants to give you a certain kind of life. And what the decisions that they're making that you want to try and apply to your life because it sounds like that's the smart thing to do, God doesn't give you life in that because that's not what he wants for you, right? They close their minds and they harden their hearts, right? They live for lustful pleasure and eagerly practice every kind of impurity. That's not just talking about sexuality, bro. That's talking about what pleases me. This is going to please me. That's going to please me. Yo, sometimes the very things that you're trying to just go over and above and beyond are not things that God wants in your life. They're things that will please you. And sometimes what pleases you does not please God, does not please your kids, does not please your spouse, does not please your job, does not please your parents. It's about you. You made it about you. That's the key point. You're not realizing that you have made it all about you. That's the problem that we get to, right? And God wants to take off that old sinful nature, which is corrupted by lust and deception, right? He wants to renew our thoughts. He wants to renew our attitudes. He wants to give us a new nature. But look at where he goes with it, bro. Stop telling lies. Let us tell our neighbors the truth. We see how much of the world is not constantly telling people lies. I came across a situation this week where somebody was telling lies, and at the end of the day, the biggest lie that they were telling was about themselves because they weren't self-analyzing themselves. And what they were doing was they were making excuses. And the biggest excuse that they were making in their lives was that they were lying to themselves by making excuses and not looking inward that they are part of the problem. You feel me? So, and that's where we got to don't sin letting anger control you, right? But I want to take you to where this thing ends because it's crazy because that's tied into exactly where you went to. What does all of this lead to, little bro? What did all of this lead to? This leads to us getting the advice to not use foul or abusive language. Let everything you say be good and helpful so that your words will be an encouragement to those who hear them. You know what that is? That's uplifting. That's seeing somebody go through it and you're trying to do nothing but lift them up. They might even deserve what they got. But it's like, even with that, yo, I'm not going to destroy you. I'm going to lift you up. Get rid of all bitterness, rage, anger, harsh words, and slander, as well as all types of evil behavior. Instead, be kind to each other, tenderhearted, forgiving one another, just as God, through Christ, has forgiven you. Yo, you forgot that you ain't perfect? You forgot that you don't have all the answers? You forgot that you did somebody wrong? That you might still be doing somebody wrong? You forgot that many times you made it about you? You forgot that many times you didn't really care about what your spouse cared about in that moment because you were so angry about something that you wanted something your way, so you went at them? When at the end of the day, you should have thought about making it about this family, making it about this relationship that you got on your kids about certain things, but you didn't care about their well-being to go ask them, yo, what's really going on? because I just want you to please me in this way, and that's why I'm getting tight about you. But in reality, what's causing you to be that way? We don't stop to think. And God tells us, be slow to speak. We're the last ones being slow to speak because we're quick to talk. Not thinking about, yo, hold up, this is going on. Why is this going on? How many of us, and that's where most of the world is making mistakes. Are you stopping before you even open your mouth? Are you stopping to say, why is this happening? What is going on? How should I address it? How would Jesus want me to address it? How would Jesus go through this? God, give me the discernment to deal with this. Because if I go by myself, I might slap somebody. Because if I go by myself, I might cuss somebody out. Because if I go by myself, I might tell my boss to go kick rocks and then I'm done with this job. I might tell my pastor to go somewhere with this. But don't be talking to me trying to correct me. I might do something. Instead of taking a minute and be like, yo, take a pause for the cause, chill out, because I'm getting a little bit amped up. And what I need to do is just stop. Take a moment. Breathe in. Just chill. I know somebody that when they were dealing with their partner, they would step away to another room and they would just go, oh, okay. Let me not talk in this moment. And let me go do something for a second to go just chill. Because if I speak in this moment, I'm going to go off. And I was like, yo, but how do you have patience like that? Because that might not even be healthy. But they did it. And many times, what we need to do is just have that moment like, okay, wait a second. What's going on with my partner? What's going on with my spouse? What's going on with my boyfriend, my girlfriend? What's going on with my kids? What's going on with my parents? What's going on with my sibling, my cousin, whoever is acting this way? What is going on? Or all these problems that are coming at me because you talked about problems. All these problems that are going at me. Bro, I've had many a moment where I'm not going to lie. I've had many a moment where I've been depressed. You know, we talked about it. We talked about it in private. But what happens at the end of the day, when all these attacks come and all these things are crumbling down, I get to the point that I stop and I say, hold up. God, if I'm doing something wrong, show me that I'm wrong. Because I want to correct it. And if you're trying to show me something, or if you just want me to rely on you, give me the strength to rely on you. Give me the strength in this moment because it's not easy. Give me the strength to get up out this bed. Give me the strength to take this step. Give me the strength to not take it out on somebody. You know, guide me in all of this because it's not easy. And again, that's where we get to the whole thing. If it's not easy, that's the narrow road. Because the wide road would be like, yo, you better go tell your partner that if they ain't doing this for you, tell them where they can go. Go ask for this divorce. Don't even try to work it out. Just ask for this divorce. Yell at your kids. Try to get them, instead of finding out what the root of the issue is, just go ahead and try and get them on some ADHD medication. You know what I'm saying? Like, we try to make excuses instead of saying, Lord, show me what's going on here. Oh, my business is crumbling down, or, you know, I'm losing these clients, or my boss is mad at me. Show me if it's me. And if it's not me, show me what you want to show me in this, because I just want to know, right? Because life ain't easy. But the world is trying to get you to be like, make the decisions that we make. They're the good ones. Really? Because they're not. I'll tell you the main reason why they're not the good ones. Because the people in the world, when they encounter their issues, there's always some sort of self-medication. Always. Let me have a drink, this glass of wine. Let me de-stress. Just binge watch for 6 hours. Forget about everybody else. Get my kid out of my face, please. I don't want to deal with that right now. I just need to let it go. Let me tell my boss off. Maybe I don't tell my boss off because like the word was asking us to do was to be transparent, to tell the truth, right? To bring that truth because Jesus is all about truth anyway. Instead of doing that, let me talk to my coworkers and complain about it. Yo, those coworkers you trust, let there be something that they can get in a promotion where they can backstab you for a moment to get a leg up on you. All the stuff you talked, at some point, believe me, the things that you're doing in darkness will come to the light. The same way that the things that people do to you in darkness will come to the light. Little bro, you know that that's come up. I told you certain decisions that you made in your life. I told you, ask God for direction. And if you have peace, go with what God has given you in that peace. And people were doing things in the darkness. It took a few years, but didn't it come to light? It always does. The same way that anything that you do in the darkness will come to light. It always does. That's how God works. He reveals the things that are done in the darkness. So with that said, you have a decision. What road are you going to go down? And are you asking for direction? Because if you ain't asking for directions, I don't know what to tell you. You run the risk of dominoes falling, and you don't know how many dominoes are going to fall going down that line. It could be just the first few. You ever done it as a kid, try to line up the dominoes and you try to knock them over? You think you're going to see like the cool little maze, and at the end of the day, only like 3 drop. And you're like, man, this sucks. Like, I got to do it all over again. But sometimes you knock it and all of them fall down. Are you willing to run the risk to see how many dominoes are going to fall? And you're going to be tight when the things that you were thinking wouldn't even be affected start getting affected. Because believe me, people that make certain decisions, they don't make them thinking that they're going to make mistakes, man. Tell me, come on, man. The dude that flirted at work with the coworker, knowing that he got a wife at home, knowing that he got his girl, whatever. You think that he did that little flirting thinking that it was going to lead to cheating? Oh, man. I mean, there are some, but even in most cases, that doesn't happen that way. You just made a decision to entertain. Today, I didn't feel like calling in for work. I didn't feel like doing this task. I'm going to do it halfway. Okay, that's fine. It's a small domino. I'm sure that they didn't think that that was going to lead them to calling in sick 20 times in the year. I'm sure they didn't think that that was going to lead to them finding every which way that they could cut corners and every break that they could take throughout the day that affects the performance of their job. I'm sure they didn't think about that when it started to happen. They just thought, yo, it's just one little thing that I'm doing, one minor task. Again, the example of going to work and I'm not going to be there for my kid for this, but I gotta handle this. I gotta pay this bill. I'm sure you didn't think that that was going to lead to you missing out on a lot of things that your kids were going to do on that particular day. And they remember those memories of the day that I did this, my mom wasn't there or my dad wasn't there. I'm sure you didn't think that that was going to lead to that. Bro, how many people have we seen in life that have missed major experiences for that their kids had? And when they started to do that, they never had they thought it was one day, one weekend, 1 month, just this year. And then they spent 25 years doing it. Some of the saddest things that I think, and we go back to getting rid of mentalities. I'm going to put some business out there. We grow, we have a culture, a family who we grew up live to work, no matter how much you got to work, no matter how much you got to grind. Do it. Do it at all costs. And we had family members who lived their life missing out on a lot of different things because it was about, I got to move up. I have to go above and beyond for providing. I really want to bless people this way, but because if I have this house, if I have this, if I have that, I'm going to make other people happy. And some of the saddest things that I've seen in my life that I'm like, makes me wonder, would you do it again that way? Is people that missed out on a lot of things in their kids' lives, or people that missed out on enjoying the health that God gave them because they were grinding towards something. And when they finally reached the goal where they could, where they achieved what they wanted, they no longer had the health to enjoy it. And that very thing that they worked toward, when they would no longer be here, would be the very thing that would start destroying the family because people would start fighting over it. Seriously? Makes me wonder, if those people were here, would you do it again? Knowing what you know now, in retrospect, minor decisions that led to decades of behavior, decades of commitment towards something. Knowing it now, would you make the same decision? Knowing now that it would destroy families, knowing now that you wouldn't even get to enjoy it, wouldn't you have chosen to live by what the Word of God says? Let tomorrow worry for itself. And you could go ahead and enjoy life, enjoy moments, enjoy it in health, enjoy the things that God is giving you in that moment, enjoy blessing others in that moment, not working towards something that you think people are going to enjoy in your old age or when you're gone. Because what you thought isn't even what happened. I guarantee you people would make different decisions. Stop thinking that you know what the future is going to hold. You don't even know what tomorrow is going to hold. You don't even know what 5 minutes from now is going to hold. This goes back to something you said, I think it was last week. Nothing's promised. So when you walk out that door, you don't know if that's the last time you're going to say bye to your family members. That's an opportunity for you to let them know how much you love them and how much you care for them. You're being given that moment, but you think you got moments. You think you got years. You think that they have moments or years. And age doesn't matter. I've seen kids, 5, 6 years old, have tragic accidents. Nobody thought that was coming. Everything was cool 5 minutes ago, 2 minutes ago. But they made one bad trip, one bad slip. And then those kids were no longer there. You know what I'm saying? You have to ask for the discernment, man. You really do. And if you feel like God is not answering your prayer directly, where you can hear his full voice, because a lot of times we want audible voice, audible confirmation from him, whether it's that he talks to you or somebody prophesies something or whatever. Sometimes all you got to do, and in today's age, it's so easy to do. If you're not sure, Google what does God's word say about a certain thing, and don't let the result. Don't go reading into depths what people have written. Read the scripture that talks about that and see what God gives you in that moment if you don't trust anything else. And believe me, it will not conflict with each other, or trust that God is going to close the door. But unfortunately, bro, we're living in a society in which there's that narrow gate, and there's a gate everybody goes through, and everybody's telling you, do what you want to do. Please yourself. Grind for everything that you want. Everything that you want is not everything that God wants to give you. And I can tell you that from experience. I can make a lot of moves right now, but God has called me into ministry. And that in and of itself has led to difficulty. It has. And the solutions could be easy from a human perspective, right? But I've chosen to obey. And in something that I never wanted to do, because I always like to be behind the scenes. I like to be the person giving the money so that they could do that. I'm just being a blessing to the church or whatever. I never wanted to do this. But now that God has me doing it, he changed my heart. I wouldn't trade this for anything in the world right now. Some of you guys have connected with us and confided in us certain things where God has spoken and he wants to change your lives. And some have made decisions, some have seen the blessings, some have, seen different things happen. And when I hear of how God is working, I'm like, yo, I wouldn't trade that. Hearing that their life is changing, that they're trusting him more, that they're seeing him work, that they're having more of a relation, I would not change that at all, bro, at all. But that takes sacrifice, and that takes going down the narrow road. That doesn't mean that y'all are called to ministry, but that just means ask God, where does he want you to go? He might tell you leave the job and open this business. He might tell you go spend more time with your kids. He might tell you go take your spouse out on this particular day to go do this. Pay him or her a little bit more attention. Maybe on that day, go do what they like, not what you are into. Show a little bit of humility and sacrifice, because you don't know how that day, it might be like that, what that person needed, right? Don't make it all about yourself. You don't know what he wants you to do. And sometimes it might not be what you want to do. But when you trust him, it'd be like, yo, I know I didn't want to go take my husband or my wife to go do this. That's what they're into. But God put in my heart to go do it. Or for my parents, or for my brother or my sister, my friend, whoever, for my coworker. But man, now that I did it for them, feels kind of nice. This has made our relationship a little bit better. I see the perks now. I see God was looking out. That tiny little sacrifice, right? Or maybe you sacrifice what you want to do for what God wants to do, and you please him, and you see blessings pour out because he's like, yo, thank you. I just wanted you to do that. I just wanted you to trust me. All of it's about trust. What are we trusting in? And I'm gonna leave it at that, bro.
It's major. It's major. We're going in. I want everyone to go ahead and drop a heart. Drop a heart in the chat if you like what you're receiving. Drop a heart in the chat. If what Pastor Carlos went deep, and myself, like we went straight to it as soon as the live went on. Please drop a heart in the chat if you're feeling the topic today, if you appreciate the message. Please, if someone needs to hear this message, pass it on to someone. The link, the live itself, we always do this on a weekly basis. It's major what we're doing here, the impact, helping others, uplift each other, maintaining that mental health, that emotional health, spiritual health, eventually leads to financial, right? Stability in general, just stability in general. That's the whole purpose. This platform is made of misery. It's made of anxiety. It's made of depression. It comes from all the experiences, from trauma that we've gone through in the past, all the obstacles that we had to break through, the breakthrough. We're putting it all in one. And it's major. And I'm hoping that it's helping you out. Just know that you do count, right? Your life does matter. You're not alone in this world going through it, right? There's other people going through it. You have a platform that proves it. You have a platform that discusses it. You have a platform that puts it out. You have a platform that's very transparent. Just know that you are not alone. We can discuss anything and everything through this platform. And where we're taking this platform to the level that we're working towards, it's priceless. It's priceless. We're making major moves as we speak. We're going to make major moves in the near future. So really appreciate everyone who's watching us. I appreciate everyone who supports us. Speaking of support, we do have the option where you can, buy a badge, donate to the platform. Again, you're not obligated to do it. I'm just bringing it up for those who can and are able to do so. If you're not, it's fine. Just having the views, having you here, having you receive the message is so much more than receiving a badge, honestly. So you don't have to send a badge at all, but we do accept donations. Another thing as well, Pastor Carlos, as you were talking, it's crazy how we align on a weekly basis. For those who don't know, we don't discuss our lives the week before. We don't prepare for these lives, right? There are certain topics that we do discuss that eventually we'll have to prepare for. Like we have one for the back to school edition, right? We have the one with the influence of music that's going to come in the near future. There's so much more that is coming, but the fact that we align every time we speak, it's major, right? And that's God speaking through us. And all we want to do is we don't want to keep these messages to ourselves. The same way whenever I post on social media, the positive messages, I don't want to keep those messages to myself. I want to pass it on to someone else. Whatever I learn, the lesson that I go through or learn, I want to make sure that the next person can benefit from it. That's the whole point of our platform. That's the whole point of exactly what we do on a daily basis, right? We help many out there, but we don't put it on visuals, right? We don't have visuals of it, but we are going to start doing that. We are going to start putting the blessings that we'll be blessing people with through video to post it up on social media, because we do want to grow the platform. We do want people to be more involved in terms of when it comes to fundraising purposes. For fundraising purposes, we want to help that family that is unable to put food on the table. We want to help that family that's unable to pay rent, to pay a light bill, to have money for gas, right? We're all struggling. Yes, we are, all of us. We are in need, right? But there are others who are unable to do it. They are unable to do it. They're stuck against the wall. They feel lost. They feel like they don't have a way. But whether it's through a great message or finance, we're here to help both. We're here to help both. So please look out for that. And I'm really hoping to see everyone be a part of it. Big Bro, to continue with the live and the topic, if you keep serving the enemy or distractions, in other words, doing the wrong things, as we were talking throughout the episode today, you will be blessed in ways you think is a blessing, but you will be blind and setting up for destruction. I want to read that one more time, because I want everyone to look at themselves in the mirror. I want everyone to look at themselves. Close your eyes. Think about what it is that you're doing wrong. Some people know they're doing it wrong. Some people have bad intentions for others or things. Or there's people that have been put into situations because of what they've been through. Again, if you keep serving the enemy or your distractions, your problems, in other words, doing the wrong things, will you be blessed? You will be blessed in ways you think you're being blessed. But you will be blind and setting up for destruction. Reality is you are blind and you're not seeing, accepting reality, and you're just setting yourself up for failure. And we can do so much better for those who are doing others wrong, for those who, let me just go straight to details. For those who are scamming other people, for those who are destroying other people, for those who are destroying other people, causing them to step into depression, causing them to step into anxiety, causing them to have issues in their with their family, right? With their finance, putting their mental or emotional health at risk. if you feel like you're doing that today, just be very careful. There's always time to turn back around and apologize. There's always time to turn back around and be different. Don't blame yourself, because we know why you're doing it. We know why you're doing it. You're doing it because it's what you know. You're doing it because it's what you've been through. You're doing it because it's what people have done to you. You're doing it because you feel like that's the right way before it's done to you.
Yep.
There's always a reason why you're doing it, but I'm telling you not to feel guilty about it. I'm telling you to keep pushing for better. Fight to be better. Fight for change.
And understand you're never too far gone. You know, it might seem like,
Never.
oh, this is who I am. This is what I do.
And you're not.
This is what, no, you don't have to fall for that.
You don't
know
have to.
that at any point you can be like, yo, you know what? This ain't it, Chief. This is not it for me.
No.
I'm a go, and I want better.
Yeah.
You're never too far gone. You're never too far gone.
Don't put yourself at risk. You know. Again, I want to go into more details. If you feel like you have to speak a certain way to feel like you're down with that little group you're with, or lately you're connected with, go back to who you were. You don't have to change the way you talk. You don't have to change your lifestyle. You don't have to change your Hyundai Elantra to a Mercedes 350. You don't have to do that. Stick to who you are. Stick to your budget. Stick to your character. Stick to your uniqueness. Stick to your beautifulness, your ways, your abilities. Stick to you. Stick to yourself. And those who accept will stick around.
Yep.
And those who don't accept, they won't. And that's the man above doing his work, getting rid of the people. The changes that you'll be making eventually, he's getting rid of those little ways in you. He's changing you within. With that said, there are times when we go after the wrong people, places, and things. Or go after people, places, and things for the wrong reasons. I want to go ahead and repeat that. There are times when we go after the wrong people, places, and things. Or go after the people, places, and things for the wrong reason. It's not like I got that message out of nowhere driving. It's not like I didn't get it for no reason. I got it for a reason. It's because I've been there. I've been on both sides. I've gone after the wrong people, places, and things. And also for the wrong reasons. I wanted change, and I saw change, but it was the wrong change. I wanted to do that 360. And meanwhile, what I thought I was doing a 360, I was doing 90, 180, then back, reverse. I wasn't really doing that 360. The 360 was 3-4 years ago for me. Your 360 is right around the corner, but you have to learn to accept. Your 360 is around the corner. It's a complete change. It's right around the corner, but you have to learn how to accept it. You have to really ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? How can I correct this? How can I change this? Put it in your prayers, and best believe you're going to receive an answer. Best believe you're going to receive a direction. Now, by praying heavy and receiving direction doesn't mean that you depend on God 100%. Yes, you're going to depend on him 100%. But remember that your efforts align with his work. Your efforts align with his work. He's going to work. He's going to put in that work. But he wants you to put in that work also. He can't hold your hand the whole time and watch every single step. But he'll put the destination on that GPS. All he's asking you to do is follow it. He'll put that. He'll put the direction on the GPS. All he's asking is, trust me and follow me. This is where you're going to experience change. This is where you're going to experience accomplishments. This is where you're going to experience what you think is success. But he's going to go ahead and convert your success to significance. Everyone wants success.
Oof.
I'm getting goosebumps while I'm saying this. Everyone wants to be successful out here. But they're confusing success with significance. Because it's not about you. It's not only about you. It's about the next person. It's about the people around you. It's about the people who are watching you. It's about the kids that are watching you as they grow. The people that you give, the kids that you're giving discipline to. The people that you're giving advice. I've been wanting to be successful for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
For the wrong reasons. Because I wanted to heal my insecurities. I wanted it to heal my financial situation. I wanted it to fix so many problems in my life. But I quickly discovered those problems were distractions. And the person that I am and the character building days that I've been having practically my whole life, which most of them went south because I was ignorant. I didn't know any better. A mix of things. But I finally realized that because of how empathetic I am, I'm not really going after success. I'm actually going after being significant, the significance. How can I help the next person? I want to help myself, but I don't want it to stay there. I want to make sure that I bring somebody else out of the darkness. I want to make sure that that person that's suppressed, I want to heal them and make sure that they eliminate depression. Those people that are experiencing anxiety, I don't want you to experience anxiety. I need you to be happy. I need you to be your well-being. I need you to be stable. And when I say stable, happy, and healing in all shapes and forms, I want good for you. There's people that you discuss ideas with, and they're already destroying it with their facial expression because they can't stand someone doing better than them. But that's their view. They're viewing you doing better than them. They're not viewing, wow, look at the levels this person is obtaining, is going through. I want that person around me. I want that person around because I want to know how they got there, but most importantly, how can I get there? How can I help them? And how can I help other people? Now, if we had more unity, communities would be way different. If we had more unity, your relationship may be stronger.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say relationship, I'm not just talking about partners. I'm talking about friendship as well. Friends, family, in general. Big Bro, you feel like you want to say something, say it, because I don't want you to lose that thought.
Bro, I'm going to give you all something here. First of all, you need to watch what you're chasing, right? You really got to watch what you're chasing because you may think it's like the big move. You might think it's like the big blessing. You might think it's a big thing. But remember, we've said it multiple times. The enemy is counterfeit. The devil is counterfeit. He wants to imitate, right? He wants to go ahead and imitate what God does, right? So now think about this. God goes and says that we would be, he tells his disciples that they would be fishers of men. And us being disciples, that means that we're going to be fishers of men. That means we're going to bring people to God, that they're going to, fulfill purpose. Essentially, in everything that they do, God is going to be glorified. So understand that. Take that. What God says is that we're going to become fishers of men so that we can essentially be the ones that God uses to be able to change people's lives. But I want to take you somewhere from there. When you fish, right? When you go fishing, you are putting out bait. You typically cannot fish just to fish. You can't just like throw out, go ahead and throw out the line and all the fish are automatically going to come. In order to get a fish to come, you have to put down something that's going to attract them. You got to put down that bait. So since the enemy's counterfeit, you got to understand the enemy is fishing too. So for the enemy to be fishing, the enemy has to put down bait. And this is where we now take what God wants to give you, truly give you, compared to the counterfeit. Because for everything that God does, the enemy's got a counterfeit. Okay? I'm going to show you how. If I get this kind of job,
here we go.
I'm going to make the money, all the blessings are going to come with this job. Word?
Happiness don't come with. Let me stop.
Word? Okay, so check it out. I got people that went into computer science, that went into law, that went into trying to become a doctor, right? Nurse, whatever, because that's where the money's at. When they graduated, the money wasn't there, or the student loans were just as big. So where was the blessing in that?
Don't talk to me about student loans.
Where was the blessing in that? Meanwhile, if they would have asked God, like somebody else will be like, I'm looking for God, where does he want me to be? And God has them in something that you would think does not pay, right? Or doesn't pay as much. You would think that person could never live what you consider to be a lavish lifestyle, right? Or whatever you consider to be success. But it's what makes them happy. They feel free. They're still making moves. They're still doing things, but it's not the job that you wanted, right? Or I'm going to go another route. You've got people that sing, right? Or you got people that are musicians. The enemy puts out, yo, here, take this. I'm going to have you sing for hundreds of people, thousands of people, millions of people, whatever it is. But God says, I don't want you to make that music for them. I want you to sing for me. Because I'm going to anoint you to be able to break chains, to be able to cause life changes, because I'm going to use you. You're not the one changing people's lives, but I'm using you to change their lives so that I get the glory. I mean, you get the credit as the worship leader, musician, whatever, but God ultimately gets the glory. It's a win-win. So why am I saying that? For whatever it is that you want to do, that you feel that God is putting in your heart, the enemy will put out the counterfeit. God will put out the real. One has nothing good for you. It's a trap. It's going to lead you to what you believe is success, but it ultimately serves no purpose. The other one, if God called you for it, he's going to anoint it. Is what the enemy gives you as counterfeit, that is success of the world, is that worth more than what God can anoint you for? Because let me tell you, you can have musicians, you can have singers that have stadiums packed with people, and they're making money, but have no happiness. And at the end of the day, people go in there with a good time, but that artist walks out. Every place that I go is exactly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Every people at every stadium are, reacting to my music the same way, but nothing good is happening out of it. But I have this money, right? And I buy these things that ultimately don't bring me happiness. And I'm going to give a quick little testimony that somebody has said, which I know some of y'all may have heard of before, but I'm going to go to real quick. But at the same time, you might give up that life to go become a worship leader. God is going to use your talent that he's given you, because he gives you these talents, But what he's throwing out is, yo, you might only be in a church of 25 people, but I'm going to lead you to worship. Meanwhile, where that person has packed stadiums and leaves empty, this person only ministers to 25 people, but week after week, they see God break the chains, break the generational curses, pour out his blessing, do all these different things that week after week, they're like, I'm making a change. God used me to change somebody's life. And week after week, I have purpose. And I'm so happy because I have purpose. That person may be walking out because of the anointing that God has poured over that same talent. They may be walking out happy with their life, thankful for what's happening, changing people's lives and everything. While that artist, they filled stadiums, but they're tore up inside. You don't believe that that's the reality? I know we have a lot of people in the Hispanic community that watch us. There's a certain musician, there's a certain artist that a few years ago, funny enough, became a preacher. This musician was on everything that was hot in the Hispanic scene, in the Hispanic reggaeton scene.
Oh, Hector.
Hector el Father.
Yeah.
Hector the Father. And what does that dude say? I was this close to killing myself. My friends were dead. People were committing suicide. I couldn't find happiness. If that dude didn't give that testimony, the people that know that were there at the club, that were there in the stadiums, packed stadiums and everything, would swear this dude was on everything. Everything that was in this genre had his imprint on it. He was everywhere. They called him the Father for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
But he would be the first one to tell you, I wasn't happy. I was thinking about killing myself. I had people that died. You know why they died? Because they weren't happy. They were filling stadiums. They were having supposedly people be happy, celebrating, partying, doing all this stuff. But all of that, no matter everything that they had, they were not happy. But the person that said, yo, God, use me. How do you want to use me? And God says, there's only going to be 5 people today, but let's worship it out. I'm anointing what you're doing. And that person sees somebody that had demons cast out. The demons, they were delivered. Or they saw that family that everybody thought was broken, reunited, working, right. Or pains that people had of sexual abuse in their past. They were able to get over it because God broke those chains, and that the enemy didn't have that weight over them anymore. There's going to be 2 things of bait out there. One is what the enemy is going to want to catch you with to destroy you. The other is the one that God wants to attract you with to anoint you. Let me tell you, whatever God anoints is always, always, always going to win out. But it might not be the most attractive thing. And I'm going to end it with this on my end before I pass it back to you, bro. I remember a story that I can't remember where I read it, but there was an article written a few years ago about a family, very, very well-off family, very well-off family. And they had this huge house. I'm talking $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 house. All the luxurious things, cars and everything, kids in the private school, everything that you can think of, right? Everything that from a family dynamic, we would be like success, right? But the dad came home one day from working overtime. And this is not like, a blue collar job. I'm talking white collar job, like high paying job, executive job. The dad came home and something happened in that moment where he realized, yo, I'm missing out on a lot. We as a family are missing out on a lot. We're making our schedule so busy, but this is not working out for my family. So he shared about how He talked with his wife that evening, and it turned out that his wife had the same feeling. And I was like, what are we going to do? Talked about it. And they made a decision. We can continue to work this job. It's fine. But we're going to work these jobs, and if that means leaving our current employer and working in the same thing, but going to somebody else, we'll do this. We're going to work jobs that allow us to work the hours that we want. Family-friendly hours. My kids are in school, I'm at work. My kids are out of school, I'm with my kids. That means that we got to stop doing a lot of these activities that the kids are doing. That means we might have to sell these cars, you know, downgrade, take it to the dealership and downgrade.
Humility.
Definitely means I got to give up this house. You know what they did? They took their kids out of a lot of activities. They took their kids out of private school. They downscaled their jobs, like how much they committed to the job. And the person shared, my wife and I even decided to sell the house and move into an apartment. And they were like, we downgraded our lives from the standard of amenities and things that we do and luxuries that we have. But we immediately saw a change in our family's life. And they were like, we knew we made the right decision. Because it's not always about what you can chase. It's about what's the right thing. And they made a decision that a lot of people probably thought, yo, how are you going to go from a house to an apartment? How are you going to work less? How are you going to switch that job? How are you going to downgrade this car? Are you serious? I mean, I don't know what kind of car they had, but I imagine like, yo, how are you going to go ahead and give up this S-Class for that Hyundai? You know what I'm saying? For that Chevy Impala, you know, for that Toyota Corolla. How are you going to do that? Like, why would you do that? You're good. Your job's not going to get rid of you or nothing like that. But there was that moment of wisdom to say, the car's not important. The house is not important. The treasures that I can store up on this earth, I can't take with me. They had that realization. And man, you know what? They got to enjoy their kids. They got to enjoy their family. They got to enjoy their time as spouses. And their kids appreciate it. And I guarantee you, their kids are going to realize, we talk about like generational curses and you can break them. The kids are going to realize, I'm sure, or did realize, yo, I remember when we had all these things. But I also remember when we took them away and how much happier we were. You realize those kids are probably not going to be slaves to the same thing later in their future, because they're going to realize there's certain things that I don't compromise. And my family is one of them. I'm telling you, bro, shift in your mindset. It's not always what the enemy wants to throw you as bait that seems the most attractive.
Got you. And I'm glad that you broke it down, because as you were talking, I was thinking about how many of us have to shift our mindset, how many of us have to reframe our thoughts, reframe our view of our lives and perspective, right? We have to change. We have to change in general. It's not only change our actions or reactions. We also have to change us. We have to change the way that we think. We also have to quit thinking about what people would say or think about us, because it'll make your life so much easier. Again, I want to go back and reference from the example you gave, where if you feel like you have to downgrade your car or your lifestyle in general, meaning your home, whatever that is, do it to give your family more. Do it to give yourself more for those who don't have kids, right? Because eventually you do want to have a family. So you want to be able to have enough or, have the time. And when I say have, we're not only talking about money. We're talking about money, time, and energy. Money, time, and energy. You need it. If you're working OT, extra hours, You're not going to have the time or energy, but you may have the money. What is that going to do?
Yep.
It's not really going to do much. It's not going to do much. You have to be there to support your partner or yourself mentally, emotionally, help them to support themselves spiritually. Uh, the finance comes right after, because if you're not doing well or the people around you aren't doing well, what value does money have?
Yep.
Money does not buy happiness. It does not buy the elimination of depression, anxiety, or any other mental conditions or emotional conditions that are out there, right? It doesn't buy it. Now, there's a lot of contradictions and confusion, right? Because when you say that money doesn't buy happiness, I get it. Money does some type of relief and provide happiness because you're able to afford and do so much more with money. But the second that you mishandle money is when you're going to realize, wow, I'm back in the same situation when I did not have money, right? So money can actually take you to places where you didn't expect to be.
And speaking from experience, if you're not careful, you can dig a bigger hole than what you could have before.
Yeah.
So believe that. Believe that.
Yeah. And again, shifting the mind, if something came up and I just wrote it down now, we are a threat to the enemy, distractions, society. When you decide to go against the grain of society, prepare for the crash course, the obstacles, the difficulties, the struggle, the stress. Prepare for it, because when you decide, again, I want to go back to the beginning of the episode where people ask me, why is it that you take everything so light? Why is it that you're just different? Why this? Why that? It's because I've learned so much along the way. I am woke. I am aware, so much aware of myself, aware of what I'm capable of, my potential, what I can do for others, what I can do for myself. And when I say others, I'm not even talking about my own family alone. It's what I do in my family and what I do outside of me, what I do for others, for strangers. I give my time to them. I give the advice, right? There's so many things that while I'm giving the advice, in the discussion, I find gems, which is major. There's people that think that because you're giving the advice, you know it all, or because you're giving the advice, they're coming to me because they want the solution. But there's a lot of solutions that I find having the discussion. Let me be real with you. Let me be transparent. So I love what I've been doing. I love the opportunity that God has given me. I love the life that I'm living, even through the struggles. I love how no matter what I'm going through, it does not change me as a person. I love the heart that I've developed. Let me use the right words here. Because you know what? I even look at my heart as my biggest muscle. Put my arm here real quick. I got no biceps, right? Maybe a little something. I got no biceps, right? But my heart is my biggest muscle. You want to know why? I want everybody to think about this. When you go to the gym and you're putting in that work, you're putting in that workout, how do you think you gain muscle? You gain muscle by putting in that work. But if we want to get real deep into it, what does the muscle have to do in order to grow? Rip. It has to go through stress. It has to go through the struggle, the work, right? The push. My heart's been broken multiple times. I've experienced stress. I've experienced depression. I've experienced anxiety. My heart's been ripped multiple times to get to the mass, to the shape, to the size that it is today. There's other people's hearts that because of what they've been through, it doesn't grow, it doesn't develop because they don't allow it to. And it's okay, don't feel guilty about it. I'm here to wake you up. I'm here to put you on game. that the struggle that you're going through, the experiences that you've been going through, the trauma, all it's doing is making your heart bigger. But you're not really allowing it to grow. You're not allowing it for it to develop. You're not allowing yourself to learn from those lessons. You're not allowing yourself going through those processes because it's so much easier to take the other route. Again, my heart's been ripped apart. I've become a beautiful person after it. Somebody may
bro,
come
you
along.
were
Yeah.
you
Go
were
ahead, bro.
talking
Go
about
ahead.
things that you love, and like you mentioned, you go through all this ripping and all these different things, right?
It's a
I don't know
process.
about you, bro. I don't know about you, but I've had moments where the attacks have been so like machine gun fire, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you take so many hits that it's like you get to the point where it's like, I know, for example, there have been times where I know what my purpose is for the day and where God wants to take me, and the hits will have me so battered that I'll be like, I really don't feel like doing it, and I become like this razor thin to saying, no, I'm tapping out today. I'm tapping out today. And instead, I will trust him to be like, I'm not in the mood, but let's go. And I'll take the steps. And something that sometimes I hear people say, like, when you're getting attacked and you're feeling down, worship, because it confuses the enemy, right?
Yeah.
Let me tell you, there is no better feeling. And I hope that every person tonight experiences this. And I'm not talking about experiencing it one time. I'm talking about that they experience this every single time that they go through struggle, that they go through attacks, that they go through all this stuff. There is no better feeling than when you can't go anymore and you're about to tap out and you say, nah, I'm not doing this. I'm gonna push through. Because when you decide that you're still going to give that effort to do what you know that you need to do, what God is calling you to do, and you take those steps, you put your effort, as minimal as it is, you might have like no energy, but you decide, I'm still going to do it, and you take, even if it's one step toward that direction, and God puts in the rest, and you're like, I still achieved what God wanted me to do. And you see why he wanted you to do it. Because people have been impacted. Bro, there's been times where I've been like, I've had to preach on a day and I'm like this close to being, I can't. And I go and I hear people, oh my gosh, like God spoke to me on this day. This chain broke, that broke, all this stuff. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I know why you didn't want me to come today. I know why you were hitting me hard with the attacks. I bet I got the victory. And what? And I didn't get the victory. God got the victory and he got the glory. What? You step up to the enemy like, what were you going to do? Nothing. When you walk out and you see that, you're like, I bet now I see why. And I came out with the victory and God came out with the victory and he got glorified. What are you going to do? Bro, there's no better feeling than getting that W. Knowing that he walked away that evening or that day or that moment tight, knowing, how could you do this? How could you get up? How could you keep swinging? How could you not care? Why didn't you stay down? I want every person that watches this video to experience that every single day, that no matter how many shots you take,
you're gonna break through.
That all you got to do is get that effort to just get up one more time, to just take that step, to just say, God, if this is where you want me to be, I'm going to take a step in that direction. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, but you walk with me in that direction and you do what you got to do so that you can see how God puts in the rest of that effort, how he fills in the blank, how he gives you the strength, how he gives you what to say, how he gives you what to do, how he shows you who needed to be blessed, and you go and you do it. And when you see why God wanted you there and why God had that purpose and why he had you take that risk and why he had you make that move, and you see how he took you through the other side and why the enemy didn't want you there and why the enemy was so tight that you could stand up straight and be like, that's my God. And that's why he did it. And that's why we're doing it together. And that's why he wanted me to be used. And that's why he wanted me to, why he wanted to be glorified. And that's the life that he wanted to change. And what are you going to do now? Because I know you're tight. I know that the enemy's tight. What you going to come up with next? Let's go. I'm pumped for you to do the next thing. Come at me again. I dare you to come at me again.
Yeah.
I want y'all to experience that on a consistent basis, because I get knocked down multiple times during a week. Sometimes the attack can be so hard that it's on a daily basis.
We're
But
very transparent.
when I see that God takes me to the other side and shows me, this is why I needed you to be here. This is why I needed you to have this conversation. This is why I needed you to connect with this person. This is why I needed you to decide to make the decision. This is why. This is why this is happening. This is why. And I'm like, I didn't even see it that way. I just saw my destruction. I just saw my depression. I just saw my anxiety. I just saw my inability to do it. But you showed me that you are not leaving me, that you are with me. And that the enemy needed to lose that day, that the enemy needed to lose in that moment, and that the enemy was going to be upset. And in getting upset, that he was going to come back one more time, and again, and again, and again. I'm okay with that.
And I'm glad, amen to everything you said. Now, what I want to say is this: for everyone who's going through it, and anyone that's experiencing these inconveniences, right? You're not feeling comfortable, you're not feeling confident. That's okay. That's okay. But just, this is a reminder: love yourself, care for you, and know that if anyone's trying to bring you down, that's not who you are. What you're feeling is not who you are. What you're feeling is not going to be there forever. What you're feeling, you're feeling it for a reason. You're feeling it because you're going to help someone else. And if they're making you feel a certain way, it's just a way of you being shown that this person's not for you. This job is not for you. This situation is not for you. You shouldn't be going through this. You don't deserve this, right? Respect yourself. Love yourself. Remember, whatever you're going through, you're just going to be help for the next person, right? How do we expect to identify an issue or a problem if we don't go through that problem? How do we expect? I want to get, when Jay gets on, you know how serious it is. Jay is requesting, yeah. Yep. Jay,
Let's go. What's good, Jay?
What's going on, family?
What's going on, Jay? What's up?
What you got for us tonight? What's God giving you tonight, bro?
Oh man, I don't know where to start. How about I'll just start with appreciating you guys for taking the time to do this every Thursday. I know that there's a mission behind it. I'm a little jet lagged from traveling, but in my travels today, thank you. In my travels today, I've been reading this book, right, that aligns in a lot of what you guys are talking about, right? There's more to it, but these are areas of interest that this writer puts in their book, right? And then for everyone that's watching here today, I just I hear we're hearing Pastor Carlos and Jay Mejia talk about facing our giants, and listening to God's voice, but a lot of us in here in this chat around the world, the key thing that we're missing sometimes is the simple relationship in the intimacy with God. This book, has been talking to me a lot in that sense because, one of the biggest things that we as humans, right, we tend to do, as what we desire, what our flesh desires, right? It's in our nature, right? But when we have a closeness to God, we're more in tune with what He has to say. You know, and this is something that is so crucial in these decisions, you know, or situations that we may be in, that sometimes we get ourselves in those situations and we're trying to find a solution to a problem elsewhere in our own strength, you know, or the biggest one, which I'm going back to, is we don't have that intimate relationship with God, and that's through prayer. You know, the biggest thing that we can, the biggest weapon in spiritual warfare, in living a godly life, you know, is having that communication with the Lord, you know, and that's through prayer. And this, you know, the book that I'm reading has, you know, given me so much revelation on that, because that's just the key foundation to everything, every situation, everything that we do. So I'm wanting to come and tell you guys today, and everyone in this room, and this and that's joining us, is that in order for us to hear what God has to say, we must first seek Him first. You know, and God will talk to us in different ways. God will, you know, He may give you dreams, He may give you a revelation, He may put the people that needs to be there so that you can take the next step in the path or journey that God has for you. But it's so crucial that we maintain that relationship with Him. That prayer life is so crucial, you know. And if you're in here and you do not know what it is, you know, to have a prayer life, it just starts by just simply, you know, getting on your knees, closing your eyes, and just surrendering yourself and saying, "Hey, God, here I am. I don't know how to pray, but I know that you're there. And I'm just coming to tell you this day, Lord, you know, here I am. Show me what plans, what design is it that you have for my life? What are the steps that I need to take, Lord? You know, please reveal it to me." And the more you start spending that time asking for that guidance, you start seeing how God will start talking to you. You start seeing how God, again, starts putting the right people that needs to be there. How God starts taking away people who are doing, they're no good for your life. You know, that you may think that it's a good thing. God will start taking those people out, you know, because God will then reveal to you, hey, you know what? The reason why this person had to be removed is because their purpose was fulfilled already. They don't need to be in your life because they're holding you back for what it is that I have for you next. And you'll face so many different situations and struggles, financial, legal, sickness, whatever it may be, you know. But you know, the key to be able to walk in faith, right? Just like Jamie Hill was saying earlier, you know, it's about putting that effort. The effort is walking in faith, believing. You know, the more you have that relationship in prayer, the more you will realize that you become confident in knowing who God is, and knowing that He has your back, and knowing that, hey, you know what, Lord, I know you have my back because your word says this. And I know that you're a God that has given me promises. I know that you're a God that has told me, hey, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And you're not a God that lies. You know, so here I am, Lord, you know, taking a step forward in faith, believing that what you're going to do in my life has already come to pass. And I am putting my best foot forward so that I can make this happen because you have my back. And when you start walking it with that mentality, you start to become an overcomer. See, and that's what's the beautiful part about this, you know. You start moving away from I'm shy, I'm afraid to talk to God, to knowing, hey, I got the big dog that got my back, you know. And then you start, you know, crossing hurdles. The enemy might want to throw things at you, but then you start picking up and say, that what you're trying to throw my way, that's not what the Father has for me, you know. And in the times of difficulty, yes, you know, one thing that I wanted to share earlier too is, like, in the time of difficulty is, yes, God will be there for us. You know, if we are in Him and we're spending that time with Him, you know, God will be there for us, fighting the battle with us. But in the time of peace, the time of quiet, it's time when we also need to be praying, saying, hey, Lord, you know, here I am. Everything's going good right now in my life. You know, Lord, if there's any change, or Lord, I'm coming to you at this moment and asking, hey, Please keep me from the enemy. Please keep me from any situation, or forewarn me, Lord, if there's something that's going to come my way that I need to be prepared for, Lord, so that way you already a step ahead because you're spending that time. And that's, again, that's part of becoming an overcomer. And everyone in this room here today, oh man, it's such a heavy presence. Everyone here in this room today, you have been called to be an overcomer. Remember, you are in this earth, but you're not part of this earth. See, so you're just a vessel here. So remember that your physical limitations are not the spiritual limitations. So what you may think you can't do in your flesh, or the things that you say, I can't do this, I can't do that, but you know what, with God you can. You know, God has taken the smallest persons and made them big, you know, and that's through the manifestation and that relationship that people have, you know, and the faith that they put in God, and knowing that God is behind them and in front of them fighting the good fight. So yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you guys, and because I know that, yes, we were hearing a lot of, like, you know, we got to go fight the giants, but we also need to understand. I felt that I needed to share. God was putting in my spirit, I needed to share that in order for you to become that overcomer, it starts by prayer. You know, it starts by seeking Him in His presence. You know, if you don't know how to, you know, reach out to the host here, because you know they'll be more than happy to start showing you how to do it. Start seeking God, you know, and start guiding in the direction you need to go, to where you can start establishing a successful prayer life, because that's the key to becoming an overcomer.
Major, Jay. Thank you for that. That was
Yeah.
deep. Drop a heart for Jay, everyone. Drop a heart for Jay. For those who are
Most
listening, definitely, that's major. And
yes,
the,
for
the
real,
the
for
main
real.
thing here, is for everyone to realize, you know what I mean, what you have in you, what you're capable of, right? But always know that regardless of what you're going through, pray heavy, because you're not going to handle it on your own. You're not going to handle it on your own. And there's many times that I've been in situations where I thought the last thing was God. The last thing was God. And I'm like, no, I don't need to handle this. And there were situations that I put myself in that really, really didn't help at all.
Yep.
At all.
Yeah, the
So,
main thing that I thought of hearing that was seek first His kingdom, and all will be added.
mm-hmm.
So through the stress, through the struggle, through all the different things, seek Him first. Everything else gets added. Don't pay attention to the things around you that want to bring that distraction, because they're trying to distract you for a reason. It's because the enemy knows if you seek Him first, He's faithful to His word. You seek Him first, you seek His kingdom first, all is going to be added from there. Everything that you need, again, pay attention to the key word. Everything that you need is going to be added. Doesn't mean everything
It's
that you
major,
want,
man.
because what you want might not necessarily be what you need, because it can lead you down the wrong path. But He's going to add exactly what you need, and then some. Believe that.
Really appreciate when Jay gets on, man. The same way,
For real,
I mean,
man.
when you speak, when you pray, it's heavy. You know what I mean? When Jay gets on, it just adds on to it. So he's really connected. God speaks through him. It's major. So it's definitely,
and I appreciate
an
him
honor
getting,
and
taking the
privilege.
time to. I appreciate him taking the time to get on here, because I know being jet lagged, it's
Yeah, I didn't know
you're
he was
tired.
on.
You're tired.
Yep. So definitely now, I want to go ahead and put this out here. The enemy, society, distractions, perspective, pain, change. That's what we've been talking about tonight, right? Episode 38. Episode 38. The enemy, society, distractions, perspective, pain, and change, and so much more that we discussed tonight. What is it that you think that we're trying to do for all of our viewers? Is to shift the mindset and reframe your thoughts.
Bro, you want to see something? I just have to share this.
Go
I just
ahead,
have to
drop
share
it,
this real
drop it,
quick.
drop it, drop it, drop it before I drop what I'm about to drop.
You know how I told you that yesterday the Lord had given me, and you just said a key word. I told you that the Lord had given me something yesterday in regards to this particular conversation. He'd given it to me in general. I didn't know that it was going to come into this conversation. I knew that it was something big and that it was something that he was going to have me use, and I did use it yesterday. But again, he's hit on so many of these points today through what you've spoken, and I've gone and I brought it in. What's the word that you just said? Shift.
Yeah.
Look at the image that God gave me for exactly what he wanted me to share yesterday, right? Shift. With the up arrow.
Yeah.
Because when you shift your mindset, and what he gave me yesterday was this, and I feel the need to share it with all of you today. When you shift your mindset, when you shift your focus, when you shift it to him, you got that connection going upward, first of all, right? Shift, you make it up. And the second thing is, when you don't shift your focus toward him, what happens when you tighten and you don't hold down that shift? Everything's small. But when you hold down that shift and you do what you need to do after that, everything's big. And in fact, when we think about it from the perspective of when you type in caps, when
That's
you hold down
major.
that shift key,
Yeah.
what happens? People pay attention. People take notice. People are like, yo, why are you yelling? Why are you so enthusiastic? Why this? Why that? Because it's something that you're increasing the importance of what's happening in that moment. That's what happens when you shift your mindset. That's what happens when you decide, I'm going to shift it. I'm going to make it big. You said the word, bro, shift. I had to share that. I had to share that because God has a message, and he gave it to me yesterday, and it's just a beautiful thing when he gives confirmation. Because again, like you said, we don't talk about it. I purposely make it. You know, we've talked about it before. When you say, hey, big bro, do you want me to tell you, you know, where we're going to go today? I always tell you, no. I don't want to know nothing. I don't want to know anything.
Yeah.
I want to come into it with where God is going to guide us. And God speaks and God confirms. You seek his kingdom first, and it's all added. And this is not anything special about us. Like you said, we do this for everybody else. We don't do this. What do we get out of this? Nothing. We shared last week, even when we get the badges, we haven't touched not a penny of the badges. And I think we're probably at a point where we can take it out, but we don't touch it.
We don't touch the donations that have been made, the badges that have been bought. We do not touch that money. Not at all. We do not touch that money at all. And I'm glad that you brought that up. You know, that's a crazy image. That's a crazy image. Love it. Love it. One thing that I'm going to say is I'll give an announcement in just a few after I give this message here. Before I go with that, there's many things that Pastor Carlos and I are doing separately, individually, but there's so much that eventually I know it's going to merge, because the same way we
Can see the stream. You there, big little bro?
we almost got cut off again. Now it's asking me to confirm to make sure that this is me.
You see? And funny enough, I was just mentioning the enemy, if he's trying to throw something, we have Facebook and we have YouTube. We will find a way to upload it, so we're not playing the game.
Last week, we had the problem where we didn't even have the opportunity to upload the video. Thank God we're still here. Thank God that we're still giving the message. Thank God you're all still connected with us. We're going to make sure to upload this video ASAP, as soon as we finish. What I was saying was there's so much that we're doing individually, but there's also so much that's going to end up merging together, or eventually is going to connect. Focus determines direction. I want to go ahead and put this message out. Focus determines direction. Again, focus determines direction. Where you look is where you'll go. Once again, where you look is where you'll go. Focus determines direction. Where you look is where you'll go. In life, we get so busy wanting to be somewhere else that we forget to be where we are. If you keep thinking of skipping to there, then you won't learn or appreciate here, the now, this given moment. Let that sink in. That's why I took that little pause. I want everyone to let that sink in. I'm going to repeat it one more time. Focus determines direction. Where you look is where you'll go. In life, we get so busy wanting to be somewhere else that we forget to be where we are. If you keep thinking of skipping to there, then you won't learn or appreciate here, the now, this given moment. Once again, let that sink in. We are born with love. We are born to love. We are born to do good. Everything else we learn while we're here, living, growing, and going through our process, our journey. For some, it may be difficult early on. For others, it's going to be difficult later on. We learn everything here now on earth, in society, all the good, all the bad. We've learned along the way, right? For everything, for everyone that's gone through it, we've learned along the way, all the good and the bad. But always remember, go back to when we're born, we're innocent, we're born with love, to love, and to do good. Jay said, focus on today, not tomorrow. Let me pen that real quick before I go on to the next. Eventually, with all the lessons and breakthrough, we unlock levels within ourselves. I'm going to repeat that one more time. Eventually, with all the lessons and breakthrough, we unlock levels within ourselves. And eventually, we unlock levels outside of us. People must be asking themselves, what exactly are you talking about? What do you mean? There are lessons and breakthroughs that show us, that teach us who we are, what we're capable of, our calling. It identifies our calling, what we're here for, how we've done while being here, while still being here. But then what does it mean exactly that we unlock levels outside of us? Because of the decisions that we've made, how we are, what we've done, we've obtained, God bless, that beautiful home, that amazing car, the assets, the businesses, whatever the case may be in your life that is a blessing to you. Thank God for the lessons and the breakthrough. Now, for those who are telling themselves right now as I speak, but I haven't been blessed outside of me. I don't have that beautiful home, that beautiful car, an amazing car, the business or businesses. I don't have it. Okay, but look inside of you. What do you have? Do you have that beautiful heart? Do you have those great intentions? Do you have that amazing mindset? Do you have that peace, mindfulness, confidence? The list goes. Think of all the good. There are people out here who's been blessed within and not out yet. There's also been people who have been blessed not within, but outside of them. So now, doesn't it go back to the conversation and discussion and topic that we've had today? Are you doing the right thing? Are you doing the wrong thing? Because you're going to be blessed regardless. You're going to be blessed regardless. But one thing I'm going to say is, are you being blessed the way you think you're going to be blessed? Don't get it confused. Don't get it confused. Because just because you have a beautiful home, an amazing car, your finances are great, it doesn't mean that you have a good heart or like you have the right mindset. There are people out here who have obtained these assets wrongfully, the wrong way, taking the wrong route. There are people out here doing the right thing and haven't been blessed. But that's because they haven't chosen to break through. They haven't chosen to accept the struggles, the battles. There's a lot of people that make it through and a lot of people that can't make it out of those obstacles or through those obstacles, like I said. So just remember, the same way you want to be blessed with assets and material, make sure you're blessed with stability and that mental condition that you need, emotional state.
In fact, bro, I would actually go a step further.
That's the only way you're going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I would go a step further. The Lord wants to prosper you. His word says that he wants to prosper you, but you have to understand the prosperity he wants to give you is not necessarily the prosperity that the world calls prosperity. And a lot of times we get it twisted, because the thing is that God can prosper you in so many different areas of your life. He wants to prosper you in all areas of your life, but at the same time, he will not give you something that will lead to your destruction. He will not take you to something that is going to ultimately cause you to stumble. That's not what he wants. So if you think, for example, okay, well, the car is the big thing that I want. Well, what if that car is going to cause you to idolize the car? The Lord's not going to give it to you. Oh, it's just, I want this money. I want this house. The Lord may not give it to you if that's what's going to cause you to stumble, because you're going to start idolizing the house. You know, God can, you know, it could be the wife. It could be the kids. It could be whatever. Until you give God his particular spot in your heart, until you go ahead and seek first the kingdom and understand what it means to have that relationship, you'll come to the understanding that he wants to prosper me in all my areas, right? But at the same time, he will prosper me and ensure that I won't stumble. He's not going to give me something that's going to cause me to stumble and go the wrong way, you know? So, you know, for example, if I know somebody is an addict to whatever, if I want to prosper them in all areas of their life, I might not necessarily prosper an area that might lead to them getting addicted. You know what I'm saying? But I may prosper them in all the other areas of their life. And that's the same God that we serve, that promises he wants to prosper us and give us hope in the future. But it will be his way to ensure that you don't go by the wayside. So understand that. It's not always going to be what you think, but you will, when you have that connection, you're going to be like, I might not have what the world says is prosperity, but I have what he's prospering me with, which I'm so happy and content with, you know? And that's the difference. Again, shifting the mindset, shifting the focus.
That's major, man. That's major. Everyone, really drop a heart in the chat if you feel the topic If you appreciate the topic, please make sure to share our live, share our YouTube videos, send over that video to that person that may be in need of a message. Share it because you never know who's in need, who needs to hear more of these topics, these discussions. You have no idea. Like the same, we are not exempt because we are so aware and so woke. It doesn't mean that we don't go through battles, because I go through battles on a daily basis. The only thing that the enemy will never affect me is changing who I am and what I do. Who I am and what I do for others. There's a reason why we're here connected. I don't care how much of a bad day I'm having, I'm going to connect every single Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time, West Coast. No matter how I'm feeling on a daily basis, I'm still going to post a reel on a daily basis. 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. Maybe someday I can do 10 a day. But my concern is this, is for the message to be received. For someone who, I don't care about the views. I don't care about the monetization, right? What I do care about is that message that I received saying, dude, you changed my life. Or, hey, I needed to hear this. Or, you know what? I think different about my situation because of what you said yesterday. Or because of the video that you put up 2 days ago.
Yep.
Dude, I appreciate your profile. You should do more of it. Or, you know, put yourself in it. Whatever it is. I appreciate all that. Positive or negative, I take both feedbacks. Why? Because I learn from both. The same way I learn from good and bad moments in my life.
Facts.
Because I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect at all. And on a daily basis, I try my best to apply. But one thing that I can say for sure is the reason why I'm doing this live, along with Carlos, Pastor Carlos, which is major, is because we're both very transparent. We're both very well experienced. But not only because we're well experienced, that doesn't mean that we know it all. It means that whatever we go through on a daily basis, we continue to upgrade. I'm not more hurt because of the pain that I'm receiving. I'm actually more valuable to others. I am
Facts.
able to do so much more. When I go through something, I feel like I have more potential. When I go through something, that means that I have more knowledge. Because the more that I go through, the more I can do for you. With that said, we've been mentioning briefly how Pastor Carlos been working on, he's been focusing on ministry, and he's been working on his project. I've been doing the same on my end as well. And what I want to let everyone know is that eventually I will be providing services where we'll be able to connect, where when we connect, we'll be able to work on shifting your mindset. We'll be able to work on reframing your thoughts, your situation. You'll be able to see that you'll have a book now option on my profile where you're able to see the rates, able to see the details within the sessions that are going to be available. But we're here to make change. We're here to make you better. We're here to move forward, not backwards. We're here that when you're driving, you're looking ahead and never behind. And that doesn't only apply to when you're literally driving. When you're taking your journey through life. When you're taking your journey through life, don't look back. Keep looking forward. But remember, never underestimate the help that you can receive. And always know that we are here. We are here for you. We've always been open to say, send an email, send a comment. Anything that you want to discuss, feel free. If it's 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock at night, a.m., send that message, because if we don't see it then, we'll see it as soon as we wake up. Because we're here to help you. You're not here alone. You're not here alone. You're not here alone. And whatever situation that you're going through, you're going to get through it. Whether it's self, God, through assistance. But we're all aligned because if you're willing to receive the help, God led you there. And from the person that you're receiving the help from, He has sent them to you. This platform, once again, is going to help many lives. This platform is going to receive recognition. We're not worried about that because if we were, we would pay to sponsor this platform. We would pay to promote, but I want everything to be organic. Pastor Carlos wants this platform to be organic.
Facts.
It's very easy for us to pay the money to spread it throughout social media, and we should, and we will. But we have to receive the signal from the man above. And it's going to happen. But I want the reach to be organic. I want it to be from us to you, from you to others. What's the saying? Reap what you sow.
That's right.
Give to others and this world that you would like to receive for yourself.
That's right.
Give. I do it all the time. I give my time and energy to this platform. I give my time and energy to people with nothing attached. I don't expect anything back because I don't believe in offering help with something attached to it.
That's right.
I don't believe in that. I do it in all areas of my life. Something as simple as whenever you go out to eat, I'm very mindful of the service that I receive, the people that is there to serve me, to serve my family, to serve the people that I'm with. I have to appreciate it. Going back to us, the situation that you're in is not the end. The situation that you're in is not the last. You're going to be in multiple situations. It's all about how you react to that situation. It's all about how you receive the lesson from that situation. Whenever you're in a situation, don't dwell in it. Look for the lesson in it. Because in the lesson is the breakthrough. In the lesson is the understanding, the comprehension. In the lesson, in that situation, look for the gems. Because you will break through. But not only will you break through, you're also paving the way for others. Because whoever you come across, you're helping them get across, getting through. So really take a moment and evaluate the situation you're in. Is it really that serious? And if it is that serious, God bless, because you're going to get through. Because if it is real serious, that means that you have a breakthrough right around the corner. But there's also a purpose for you being in that situation. And as long as you have that perspective, that view on that problem or distraction that you have, you're going to make it out just fine. And if you ever feel like you're up against a wall and you don't have an answer and you don't know what else to do, and you feel like giving up on you and your family, giving up on your child, giving up on your partner, your job, your hobby, your whatever it is, send a message to Pastor Carlos, myself, or that close friend that you have, that you trust, that you're able to talk to. Send it, because again, you are not alone.
Yep.
And if you ever feel like you can never discuss anything with that specific person that you have in your contact or in your contacts, that means that you're not around the right people, because it shouldn't be something that you should think twice about.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be something that you should think twice. If the second you're going through it, the second you're in a dark place, the second the enemy is attacking you, there's only one or a few people that should come to mind that you're able to text or call. I push the call. I push a FaceTime. I push for people to FaceTime, to call over text. Those who answer really care for you.
Absolutely.
Those who are connected with you really care for you. I don't care what time it is, because I wake up early. But if I see a missed call, or I see an email, or I see a message, best believe that if I receive it right there and then, I'm responding.
Mm-hmm.
And if I do not respond that right given moment, is because I am caught up and I haven't even seen it. Because if I see something tragic, I don't care what I'm doing, I'm responding to it. So what I'm trying to say is that I'm probably asleep, but I'm an early bird and I'll wake up early and I'll respond to it. And Pastor Carlos will do the same. Eventually, when he comes across a message,
It's
you'll
always
get an
immediate.
answer.
As soon as I see it,
You'll
I
get
see
an-
it, and you'll get the answer.
And we're not going to let go. So once again, for those, now you're aware, and obviously I put out the promotions through Reels, through the posts, through the stories, where I'll be making myself available to guide you, to shift your mindset, to reframe your thoughts. I'm going to be there. You'll be able to see the sessions, the different options available, the rates. But the same way, this is something that I ask. The same way that I'm willing to be there 100% for you, to commit my time to be there for you, I hope you're there to commit to yourself as well, to receive the help, the guidance, and the message that you'll be receiving one-on-one. What I'll be offering is one-on-one sessions. And eventually I'll work into having webinars, having group sessions. But I want to focus, to start off, one-on-one sessions. And you'll have options. Please look into the book now option on my profile, and you can take a look at the details and the sessions that are available. But the same way, once again, that I'm going to commit to you, make sure that you commit to the guidance. Make sure that you commit to the time and all that you deserve for yourself. And as long as that's mutual, you will definitely see a change. You will definitely see a shift. You will definitely see the reframing of those thoughts and goals and accomplishments that you have. Pastor Carlos, I hand it over to you.
Yeah, again, some of the people that have been here have taken what we've said at face value, have sent the message. Sometimes it's been late, sometimes it's been in the middle of the day, and they've been blessed. We've spent the time. I know I've spent time with a few people. I know we even at one point had my wife and I connect with somebody as well. We were just looking for God to give the guidance on what to do, and we did that. So again, if you feel that you're in a situation like that you need that, do not hesitate to send a DM. Let us know. We'll get connected as soon as possible, to discuss it. So do not hesitate to do that. I just got a message from somebody who said, hey, prayer submissions added to the platform would be great. You know, I think we'll probably think about a better way to do that in terms of making it a little bit more formal. But of course, if it's not a conversation that you need, if it's just prayer that you need, we're always here to go ahead and pray. You know, some people have done it where they've requested it through DM. Some have done it where they've hit the little question mark with the you know, with the bubble right there in the bottom right hand corner. However you feel that you want to do it. If you want it to be here while we're live, definitely go ahead and do that. If you feel that it's through a DM, go ahead and do that as well. We want to make sure to pray for you. So just know that you can do that with confidence, and we do not share that information with anyone. Whatever happens stays in-house. And additionally, you know, ultimately, we just want to shift things. You know, we want to shift your mindset and everything. We just want you guys to be blessed. Take it at face value, please. As we start to move things, you know, I'm sure we'll find better ways to go ahead and implement things like this. But if you have ideas as well as to what would be helpful, let us know, send it out. But again, like Jay Mejia said, this was something that God put in his heart to move forward with, to go ahead and assist people with that. And like he said, God is working on something that he's been working on for a bit. And I think we're getting closer and closer to the day that it will be announced. But you know, he's doing things, and it's to help people, and it's to shift mindsets. So without question, know that those things are coming, and they will be announced at the appropriate times. And it does not change the fact that we are here for you. In fact, it will further enhance the fact that we're here for you in different ways. Last thing that I do want to mention, I know some of you have seen it in my story. We are continuing to raise funds for that family of that child that had been bullied in school, that had gone through a lot of things. I can share with you first and foremost that today was actually a blessing. I got a chance to see, first and foremost, we've already assisted in conjunction with that teacher to get, even though we don't have everything yet for that tuition, we were able to take what we've been able to get so far to kind of help to get it started. And I got to see firsthand that child in that environment, you know, where it was different. So we're not there yet. It's kind of been in you know, we talked about taking steps in faith, that, you know, that you take the steps in faith in terms of what God wants you to do, and that, you know, that God will provide.
I have to post that up.
So God has done that. And, you know, we still are probably about only a quarter of the way through, maybe 35% through. We still got a ways to go, but we've taken the initial step to say, hey, we believe that God is going to provide. And in conjunction with this teacher, we've been able to do that. And I've been able to see firsthand, and, you know, other people have seen firsthand the change in that child's life, from being able to move from a toxic bullying environment into something that's going to be much better for him. And it's a night and day difference. It's something that this child has really looked forward to. We're seeing the growth in that child's life with that. So thank you for those of you who have been a blessing in doing that. And again, you know, what has it been for those of you that have missed it, maybe not seen it in the story? God had put in my heart to go and get a PS5 to raffle. And if you felt like, you know, we've had some people that said, hey, I don't need a PS5. I'm not going to do anything with it, but I just want to donate. I've chosen to donate $1, $5, $10, you know, $50, $100, whatever it is. You know, we have a goal to be able to pay for the tuition for this child, for the entire, in fact, for 2 children, for the entire school year. And we've taken a step of faith to do that. That's what ministry is, taking steps of faith, the same way that we tell you guys to take steps of faith. Go ahead and do that. So if you need more information, you can look at my story. If you're following me, you can see it in the story. I think I posted today. If not, we'll share it again. I'll figure something out. I think it's in there. But if you want some more information, or you want to go ahead and do that, just DM us, you know, DM me, and we can get you those details. So it doesn't have to be a raffle spot. It can very simply be, yo, I just want to donate something to help this child, because, hey, at the end of the day, it's about knowing the needs of others, and being the person that can go ahead and do that, being the people, the congregation, the ministry that can go ahead and do that. And I know, like I shared last week or the week before. It's just the start. This is just the start. Helping these 2 kids is just the start, and I know we're going to see much, much greater things. And who knows? You know, I know that part of that's going to be helping communities. I know some of that's going to be helping maybe even some of you, maybe some of your loved ones. There are going to be people who are going to, you know, come in here and be, hey, this operation, hey, this need, hey, we got to buy food, hey, I've got this bill, hey, there's going to be things, and God is going to make us, you know, able to do that, especially with a number of different things that are in the pipeline. So I just give you thanks for everybody that has done that so far. On behalf of the family that's receiving those benefits, I know they send their thanks as well. If you can see how this child is beginning to thrive in this situation, believe me, they give you their thanks for what you've done. And if you haven't, again, you know, no, you know, not forcing anybody to do it, but if God puts it in your heart, don't hesitate. The same way we don't hesitate to pray for you in that moment or to go ahead and do that. If you feel that God puts it in your heart that you're able to do it, reach out and we can get you the information, and just thank you for those who've done it, you know, and for those that will do it. We just give you thanks for that. Being able to see it firsthand, being able to see the change. It's just a beautiful thing to be able to see, and just so thankful for those of you that have done that. So, you know, God bless all of you that have done that, you know, 100 times over for what you're doing, because truly it is a blessing to be able to see that child coming out of that situation. And I can't wait to see the fruits of what happened in that child's life because of that. So God bless all of you who have done that and who will do it. It really is a blessing.
Amen, amen. And when I was mentioning the one-on-one sessions, I also forgot to mention that we are going to transition over to Zoom. I was mentioning that while you were getting connected, how we're gonna do things differently now, where we're gonna transmit via Zoom and then onto the other platforms, right? Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. But just want to put out there for those who have Zoom, just be well prepared. You're gonna need the link to get connected with us. On my profile, you'll see the link in my bio. When you click the link in the bio, all the way in the bottom, you'll have 2 options. The 2 options are to sign up via email, to receive the notification for the links, and any other messages that Pastor Carlos and I would have, any other, you know, so much more good stuff, and just content and the links. On the bottom, you'll see 2 options, the email and text messaging. So if you enter your email, or if you choose the option to enter your number, your phone number, you will receive the link either way. If you want to receive the link via email and text messages, it's 2 different options, 2 different clicks. So just make sure that you go to the link in my bio and you'll see all the information there. You'll see all that we have to offer.
And with the restructuring too, in terms of what we're doing with the Zoom, it doesn't change how you guys see it. Right now, the way that you're seeing it is the way that it's going to work. It's how it's always going to work. There's not any changes there. But we are doing that for a couple of reasons. Number one, we want to provide you guys with better quality video and audio. Can't do that on Instagram Live. Having it, you know, originate in Instagram Live, we don't have that luxury. Being able to do it through something like Zoom or other tools will allow you guys to be able to see better video, better audio quality. So that's going to be a big benefit. Also, the fact that on Instagram Live, we can only have people watching on Instagram join us. People that are watching on Facebook and YouTube, they don't have a way to join. Unfortunately, it's just not possible. So doing this is going to allow us to have somewhere on the screen, you know, we're finalizing the details. We're going to have the information for how to connect with us on Zoom. So in other words, if you want to join the live the way, you know, like for example, like Jay had joined us, you know, about, a few minutes ago, to be able to put what the Lord had given in his heart, it does not stop you from doing it. It's just going to make this all inclusive, where those people that are on Facebook or on YouTube and want to join up, but they don't want to subscribe to Instagram, it will not stop them from being able to get on to the live and share their testimony, share things with you. So it's going to be a minor inconvenience to those of you watching on Instagram that do every now and then have something to say, because it's not going to be a simple request to join, but we're going to have convenient ways. Maybe, like you said, maybe it might just be a simple link in the bio where you click, it'll open up your Zoom when you have it installed on the phone, and it'll join you into what we're doing. Yeah. But we want to make this something that's going to be able to include more people, have higher quality standards in terms of our video and audio, just do so many different things. Even Zoom itself can give us a backup of what we're doing in the event that we have, the suspicious activity or whatever it is.
On Instagram.
It will allow all these different things to happen so that we've got a new originating source, and it's going to be something that ultimately is going to be a blessing to a whole lot of people. So that's the reason why we're doing it that way. We are going to make it much, we're going to make it much better for everybody that's joining us, much more inclusive, and we are going to make sure to streamline it as best as possible so that you can more easily join into Zoom by just a click of a link. So just know that it's coming. That hopefully will launch next week. It doesn't change the way that you're consuming the content. It's just going to make it much higher quality, and it's going to make it so that everybody, regardless of the platform, can go ahead and join. Not just comments. We've already been doing the comments, but it's going to make it something that everybody can join, and it's just going to be a blessing and a benefit. When we do that, the only thing that we're going to ask is when you join Zoom, that whatever platform you're connected on, that you put a message saying, hey, I want to connect, or at least in private, in that little bubble, let us know that you're going to connect so that we know that it's you. Because if we leave it open for Zoom, believe me, Zoom's got a waiting room. We're not just opening it and letting people join up. We're opening it and still monitoring when somebody joins to know that we can allow you in. We need to identify who you are when that happens so that we're not just having crazies. Because believe me, if these if these people into Wedgecraft have been joining up, believe me, they're going to try and infiltrate the Zoom, and we can't just have that. So we need to know that it's you. So we'll share more details as we get there, and we'll make it very clear on the screen as to how to do it while we're on the live. But it's going to be just a blessing and a benefit to the platform as we grow, because what we're going to be doing here, and believe me, what's coming in the coming months is going to be greater than what you guys know, what you can imagine. And this platform is just a part of it. There's going to be so much more that we're doing. So we need to be getting ready to prepare for that. So just be ready for it. We're ready to get moving with what God wants to do. And Jamie, he has started on what God has placed in his heart. I'm not at liberty to share yet, but I can just tell you that what God has placed in my heart hit a major milestone this week in terms of what needed to be done for what's coming. We cleared a major milestone, and we can't wait to share when the time is right. I don't want to put a time frame. God decides that time frame. Could be in a few months, could be in a few weeks, could be, I'm not going to set time frames. God may say a few years, but the groundwork that needed to be laid has been laid. The biggest hurdle that we had has been done, which is the financial portion of it. And we can't wait to share. I can't wait to share with you what God is doing. But we're doing it when God says. I don't know the timing. I don't want to promise that to you. But when God says that we can share, I will share it with you. And he will launch it when it happens. But believe me, it's going to be something that we're going to bless communities. This is nationwide, worldwide. Here within the community of Houston, there's a number of things that we're going to do. So I can't wait for it to be a blessing. And believe, I don't want to share. If I share anything else,
that's amazing.
Some of y'all will know where we're going to go with it. But
they got to know. They have to know. They have to know that something's coming, and they already know. Who you are, what you've been doing for a while. Eventually, they're going to appreciate, and they're going to understand. The process is everything. But
and all we know that virtue.
And faith is the substance. And faith is the substance. So we've been doing it through the platform. We never wait for the perfect time to do things. We do it on God's time, God's plan.
Amen.
So we have to accept it. For everyone that appreciated today's episode, please drop a heart in the chat. Drop a heart or a few hearts in the chat. Appreciate everyone who watches us regularly on a weekly basis. We will be on next week. Next week is episode 39. We keep going. We're not going to stop.
We're almost going on 10 months. Almost going on 10 months.
What I appreciate is that the enemy was unable to interrupt today's live. They were this close to do so, but I went ahead and put that code in, and we got right back on.
He took the mean L. He took the mean L.
He took the mean L today. He got the W last week, but he got the L this week. So it's all good. We're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep going. Appreciate everyone who watches us. Please make sure to share the videos. There's people out there that need a great message. Go ahead and send the link. Go ahead and send that YouTube. Go ahead and send it live. Go ahead and comment. Tag someone in the comments. Just make sure you go ahead and put the message through someone, whether it's yourself or send the video over to someone. Just make sure that you put the message in front of someone. I was on and off, missed a lot. It's all right, Carol. We're going to upload it on YouTube.
Yeah, it's going to be up. It's already on YouTube. The moment that we quit the transmission, YouTube's going to have it in its entirety within a few seconds. Facebook as well through my own personal page. And Jay Mejia, a few minutes afterwards, will also post it on Instagram. So you'll have a few different ways to get to it. So thank you, Carol, for attempting to be on, for being on in those times, and whatever God has given you. I know it's for the perfect timing. And when you go in, if you decide to go in, I pray that He's going to bless you with something that you're going to be able to take from it that's going to bless your life.
Most importantly, I'm glad, Carol, that you made it home safe. If you're texting,
absolutely.
That means that you made it home safe. So
yeah, with how bad the storms were here in Houston, I can tell you I was able to see a little bit, and it wasn't even that bad here compared to what I heard in other places. So the fact you made it home safe, that's all we care about, Carol. That's the important thing.
For sure. So once again, we're on every week, every Thursday, every week, every Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:30 p.m. Central Time, 5:30 p.m. Pacific Time. It's West Coast. Please try not to miss an episode. These are the episodes that are going to give you that extra push, that injection of motivation, inspiration to keep going, but not only for you to receive, but to help others receive as well. So always remember, as you receive, make sure to share for the next person to receive as well. Appreciate everyone who connects with us, and we will see you next week, Thursday. Don't miss out. Episode 39 coming up next. God bless you all.
God bless all of you.
Have a great and blessed week.
Take care, y'all.